make you feel good? And don't you wanna feel good, good, good? Sometimes I wish that we could go back before you got hurt, hurt, hurt. When before I was scared, now I'm feeling prepared. Don't you wanna feel good? Don't you wanna feel good, good, good?
When you say you were leaving, I thought that you meant it. I played the victim, you start as indifferent. Hindsight comes standard with rose-colored lenses. Hate to admit it, you're better off. Now you're too afraid to look, too scared to miss it. We're night and day, solar eclipses. Too afraid to look, too scared to miss it. We're night and day, solar eclipses. Solar eclipses.
You wanna know my feelings every time I look in your eyes. Baby, I can feel your energy, it's making me realize everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I. Everything we've been through makes us strong enough. You and I, you and I.
Hello and welcome into RFDL Week 4, Day 2. I am joined here by Airlax and Docky. How are we doing today, guys?
Doing good.
Doing good.
Doing good? Ready for some exciting games today?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Docky, you sound a little tired. You sure you're ready for your match today?
That's early for me at least. US West problems and whatnot, but I mean, I'll be awake. I'll be locked in. Don't even worry about it.
Well, we'll see how that
I am
goes.
worried about it.
You're not worried about it. I'm sure you're not worried about it. You played your game yesterday. And before we start
Well,
talking
yeah.
about the games today, let's talk about the games of the day yesterday, as we had some really exciting ones to start off our week on Saturday. Starting off with Purrsion Rebellion and Lumimosity. And honestly, Lumimosity looking like a completely different team now that Avid has joined the roster.
Yeah.
No.
Just I can agree because I was definitely there to see it. That I will admit, going into that match, we were like kind of like half confident really, because I know that Purrsion Rebellion is definitely a very, very solid team, but I think with the addition of Avid on the team, it kind of just threw just a little bit of like, I guess, uncertainty into Purrsion Rebellion, because like they've never seen Lumimosity playing with Avid, and yeah, we absolutely popped off as well, which kind of helps.
Yeah, Docky, I know you saw some of that series. What did you thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I was able to watch some of it. Yeah, that team, like you said, like they looked different by quite a bit. They were struggling in the first couple of weeks, but they seem to be, you know, on a whole new field. So, yeah, they're solid and their chemistry is really good. I think that's the team that's gonna probably end up towards the top of the leaderboard if they keep playing like they've been playing last 2 weeks.
Yeah, some of those shots were looking absolutely disgusting for that pinch for Aerolax to get it off of the opponent's net in that game number 2. Some of the most amazing plays of the day that we saw during those during that match. Even though it ended with a sweep, Purrsion Rebellion fought back, but they just weren't able to put up with the pressure that Lumamasi was putting on. And that moves us to our second match of the day, Twisted Tails and Fox Clan. And Twisted Tails keeps showing us that even though they're not getting the wins, they're not out of the conversation at all.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think we've had 2 Game 5s come out from them so far. First one was against BBG, and then this one against Fox Clan. They are absolutely showing up. It's just that, sadly, the series score just isn't showing up, sadly.
Yeah,
It's
I was
really,
gonna
really
yeah.
unfortunate.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna basically agree with that. It feels like they're the unluckiest team in the league right now. They play really well, they get really close, and then at the very last second, they just can't quite get the win, even no matter how good they play. So they're definitely a good team, and they played well. Just fortunately, that series came down the way it did. And I mean, maybe they make changes, maybe they don't. But like I said, I think they've been playing really well. They're just like pretty unlucky.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, Aerolax. They've gotten 2 Game 5s in the league now, and not just Game 5s. Both of them go to OT, and you'll see in the replays the final goal that goes in, and it really does just showcase how unlucky of a team they are right now, because they are playing really, really well. But not to say that Fox Clan wasn't playing well as I've mentioned yesterday, they have not lost an OT yet. And in fact, every single one of the games that they did win against Twisted Tails was an overtime game as well. So just padding those stats a little bit more. But Twisted Tails always showing that they can come back from a deficit. It's just when they get into that overtime, Fox Clan just seems to have the advantage, and they have the ice. So very tough to deal with a team like that.
Yeah, absolutely it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's another team that, as long as Lumosity, that's kind of had a slower start, but as time's gone on, kind of shown that the chemistry is growing with the whole squad, so they've been playing better and better. Yeah, I think they'll be a tougher opponent as time moves forward.
Yeah, specifically, I wanted to talk a little bit in this moment about Cosmo, as Cosmo's been really showing up for this team in a way that I wasn't necessarily expecting them to. I was expecting them to be more of like the backline facilitator, if anything, but they're actually getting like a really good, decent amount of shots and assists on these series, and it was really surprising to me that Taka and Javian have been allowing him to kind of come into his own in this league, and kind of figure out more of a good play style to work with him on that.
Yeah, and that's something that you really want to see, honestly, is just like, because we have quite a few teams where it's like we have 2 high-ranked players and who are like mostly on offense, and then the lower-ranked players kind of stuck on defense to just like clean up. But having that balance that Fox Clan has is definitely a recipe for success, and they are doing it very, very well.
Yeah, have to agree there. And like when you can take Cosmo and still have him putting up shots, but then you still have to watch out for Javian dunking you off of the ceiling with a really good read, like that team is just gonna be so hard to deal with. And then it comes down to this final little pinch with Javian and Cosmo. And that's just where you see Twisted Tails being some of the unluckiest players in the league right now, but I'm sure they'll come back. And that leads us to our final match of the day, which was another one in what I would probably call the upset of the day. Cloud9 versus Black Bunny Gaming. And Cloud9, not to toot my own horn or anything, but they showed up against Hammer and the rest of the squad.
Oh, absolutely they did. Like, Black Bunny Gaming, just like last season, is definitely not a force to be trifled with. But Cloud9 was really, really keeping up with them, and especially in that Game 5, winning it in a very convincing fashion.
Yeah, and for me, yeah, just seeing Voltac absolutely pop off that series, especially in that game 5, just completely all over the place, shot after shot, and the shots were connecting. So it's tough to beat. I think he played really well, but yeah, just when you're converting like Voltac and that Cloud9 team was, that's hard to win in those situations.
Yeah, good timing on the converting as we saw Factual just miss a little bit of a open net there, but having Factual on the team is definitely a big change for Cloud9, going from a very offensive focused team to more of a rotational focused one. Definitely a bit of a change going in for the roster, and I'm sure any team that plays against them will see a big change as well. And for Black Bunny, also playing with a sub right now, trying to figure out who their new third is going to be after Sam was taken off the squad to be put in the free agents. They're still looking to see if they can find a suitable third for the team to team up with Vezix and Hammer in that very demo-aggressive play style. Do you think they continue to try out Fire J here? Because they looked really good in this series.
Honestly, I think they might, because I know that, like as you mentioned, Hammer and Fire do know each other, or at the very least have played a little bit with each other, so they do have a little bit of that synergy. And obviously, as we've seen, Hammer and Vezix have that synergy, so it's really just about, for the team, finding that synergy between Fire and Vezix, which was really shown, honestly, in that series. There was a lot of times where, for example, Vezix would cheat up to go for demos, and Fire just wouldn't really trust as well and would immediately back off. And it's really just like, they gotta figure out that trust, and once they do, that will once again be a very, very formidable team.
Yeah, I have to imagine they'll probably still look at options, but yeah, as you said, it's definitely a good squad that played, yesterday. They just need to work out some of the chemistry stuff, but that's kind of expected when you have a new player coming in. It takes a little bit more than a few reps to get on the same page rotationally. So unless you have like that perfect like honeymoon clicking, that is pretty rare. But yeah, I think they might look at options, but I think the squad they ran with is pretty decent. So.
Yeah, and of course we keep talking about how at the end of this week, SSL prices are going to get lowered down a little bit, allowing for a couple of extra options for them when it comes to looking for a third. Hammer might necessarily look for something on that, but I'm definitely looking at where Joshy's team is going to be. But for Hammer, also, taking 2 losses so early in the season, that is not something that they're going to be used to. So we're not entirely sure where they're going to go, looking at how week 4 is going for them. But yeah, 2-2. Definitely not expected for Hammer's team, to say the least, but definitely not a bad spot to be at early in the season. And we'll go ahead and take a look at the leaderboard going into today. As you can see, some teams have played their matches for the week, some teams have not. But Foxland going to be in that second place spot, which is huge for them. However, with only a game difference of +2, you can see a few teams today are going to be vying to take that spot away from them. I'm looking mainly at Purrsion 1, OwOptic, Dignipaws has a good chance. Meanwhile, there are going to be some teams down below in Big Dragon Squad, Gentle Paws, trying to move up the standings, get out of those bottom 4 positions. And then you got X3 Tactics, who is 3-0 on the season, trying to make it 4-0 today. We'll have to see if they can keep up that perfect streak in series, or if they're going to take their first loss, which might be good for the team. We've talked about how losses can be quality when taken early in the season. Make sure you guys stay humble and know that teams can beat you. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but obviously I don't think anybody would complain with a 4-0 record. So guys, schedule coming up today. We have Purrsion 1 versus Dignipaws to start us off, followed by OwOptic and X3 Tactics, and finishing off with BDS and Dignipaws. So how excited are you guys to see these games take place?
I'm honestly very, very excited, especially for that one of OwOptic versus X3, which is honestly going to be very, very insane to see. Because again, as you mentioned, X3 trying to defend their top spot, and I don't have the master sheet up right now, but I believe that there is a chance for them to get knocked out of their first place position if they do in fact lose that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there would be somewhat of a chance. It would all depend on how the series go today. But Docky, how excited are you to see these matches today?
I mean, obviously, very excited for the one that Aerolex just talked about.
I wonder why.
It'll be interesting. You know, it's a tough matchup for us. You know, obviously they're very good and they've been playing very well, so we'll have to try to catch them off guard. But yeah, this first matchup of the day, though, is the one that I'm probably the most excited for. I think both these teams really, really want a win. I mean, obviously everyone does, but at this point, when you have Purrsion 1, I think, fighting for, you know, those higher spots on the leaderboard, and then Dignipaws has had a nice start, but then they've kind of faltered the last few weeks, so I'm sure that they would love to get a win here. That'll be, in my opinion, a very close and very exciting series.
Yeah, and we'll go ahead and start talking about that, as each team is going to have a little bit of a change coming into today. Some subs are coming in. Maybe, I wouldn't say necessarily subs for Dignipaws, it's maybe a new roster member, as we've had some stuff going on behind the scenes with teams throughout the weeks. Melon is no longer really able to participate in RFDL right now, so he's taken a step back from the league, which means Swire has needed to find a new third, and we will talk about that in a minute. But for people asking in the chat, we see you asking who's on each team. We're about to find that out. Let's go ahead and talk about our first team, Purrsion 1 today, who is going to have a sub as well, but we're going to be having Hayes, Drake, and Azami coming in for their first match today, playing with the Purrsion 1 squad, and replacing Golden as the GC1 on the squad for today. Azami, known to be a little bit more offensive heavy than Golden would be. How do you guys think this changes the roster?
Personally, I'm actually really excited to see how they play. I've played a little bit with Azami. I actually played this morning with them in some in-houses, and a very good passing player, just a really good offensive player just to have set you up and kind of get those passing plays going. So that actually might work really well, because I know that the two, Hayes and Drake, are very much like they like to shoot the ball a lot. So if you get someone that sets them up, I think, really well, I think they could be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be very interesting if they can actually kind of figure out that synergy quickly, because like having Drake and Hayes as those main shooters and then having Azami like setting them up, that is definitely a very good recipe for success, but that's only if they can really get it right. And since they're just being subbed in now, it's really just like a question of like if that synergy is going to be able to be formed that quickly.
Yeah, I'm excited to see. I have heard some stuff about Azami before. I've never seen them play, so this is going to be a big thing for me. I know that they used to play back in the day at a somewhat high level, and then stopped playing for a little bit, and came back into the game. Definitely had some rust, but I've heard that they're looking pretty decent, and we've seen them in the server playing quite a lot recently as well. So I'm very excited to see who they're going to be playing with, or how they're going to play. But we do have another team to talk about today, and I've already seen some quick chats, or not quick chats, but some party chats in the lobby as our newer player has entered. But let's talk about Dignipaws, who's bringing on a new GC3, and it's going to be a shocker. Strawberry, Firestreak, and Pictus is going to be the 3 playing today. Pictus going to probably be starting conversations about who the best GC3 in the league is, as most people will say it's gonna be Sylvie, but from what I've heard about this Pictus person, they might be here to take that spot.
Yeah, I've played quite a bit with Pictus. Fantastic player. Actually won my first ever GC tournament with Pictus. So yeah, just a solid threes player, especially when he's playing the game a lot. When he's on that kind of grind stuff, he is absolutely insane. Very mechanical, very quick, speedy player. So yeah, losing Melon's rough, but if there's anyone you want to see replace Melon, Pictus is definitely your guy.
Yeah, that's honestly fair. I haven't really been able to play with Pictus too much, but as a lot of you probably saw with the chaos of last night, I did get the chance, and from what I saw, even though I was absolutely extremely overtired, they are definitely a very, very solid player, and definitely a great addition to the team.
Yeah, I've never seen them play before. All I have is word of mouth to go off of, but based off of
You
what
saw
I've
them play
heard,
yesterday.
I did. When did I see that? When was I there?
Or wait.
I didn't.
Oh,
that
no,
was-
never mind, sorry.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, buddy. I've just heard people
Right,
talk
okay,
about.
no, sorry, yeah.
You're thinking something else.
No. Yeah, no, I was like playing slightly with them before the
After dark.
chaos.
Okay. But no, I've only heard what other people have to say about them, and it's always been good stuff. So I'm very excited to see what they can do. I have no idea what their rotational style is. I don't know what kind of gameplay they go for. If it's a mechy style, if it's like very game sense based. So I'm very excited to see that. For our predictions of the days, guys, going over this one, I went with Dignipaws in 4. Arilax went with Purrsion 1 in 4. And Daki went with Dignipaws in 5. So a bit of a split desk going into the first match of the day. You know, I think that this could go either way, especially with these players having new teammates to kind of see with. Of course, for Dignipaws, that is going to be a full-time teammate, while Purrsion 1, it's just going to be a sub. So I'm wondering how exactly these teams are going to mesh, and I think it's really going to be looking at these 2 new players on the field to kind of show us what they can do, and I think that's going to decide the match. What are you guys thinking?
I mean, I think it's
Honestly,
nail on the head, yeah. Oh, sorry.
No, you go, you go.
Okay, I was just saying. I mean, I was ironically, I was just gonna say. I think you said exactly what I was gonna say. Where it really does come down to the new players. See who gels the best with the chemistry and who's able to click.
Yeah, I agree. Just exact same as well.
All right, well, good to know. Well, guys, we are getting the lobby started. And I just had to check real quick because I saw somebody change to a car that I don't think they wanted to have on in the match, so I gave them a second to change it back. But we are getting ready for our first match of the day, guys, and it's going to be a good one. So without further ado, now that everybody has joined in the game, it is time to start our first match of the day. And we've got Purrsion 1 versus Dignipaws for this match number 1 today. Purrsion 1 looking to try and take a top spot. Dignipaws trying to move out of the bottom 4. Who's going to be able to take it? We'll find out right now as everybody loads into this match. And we're just going to see what these teams have in store for us, Daki. Very excited for this matchup.
Yeah, and again, like you mentioned before the match started, new faces, players we haven't seen play in the league yet before, so we'll have to see how they adapt to their teams, but I have to imagine, just playing with both of them, that they'll adapt quite quickly. I don't think it'll be too much of a learning curve getting situated on these teams.
We'll have to see as a shot comes out from, I believe that was Hayes, not going to be able to take that shot and put it on net, unfortunately. Fire Streak going to be challenged in the midfield. Strawberry with a long shot, and the zombie not going to be there in time. And Strawberry going to get the first goal for Dignipaws early on.
That's a great 50. Great able to read on that. Kind of a tough angle to get to if you're on the defense there. Not quite expecting that pop out to happen. And it's a good positioning from Strawberry to make sure that he's in position to take that shot after that pop out comes. Because I don't know if that wasn't necessarily planned out, but that's kind of a lot of the X factors in these matches are going to be able to capitalize on those moments.
Now, another shot, this time coming from Drake. And that's going to be a really nice one for him as well. Starting off the scoring for Purrsion 1. A really nice flip reset over at the heads of Firestreak and Pictus. No boost in the tank. Also getting bumped out by Azami. So that's going to help out their end. And we'll have to see who can take the next one in as 2 goals in less than a minute. We're seeing that both these teams are out here to play and try and get this win as quick as possible. Now Pictus going for their first shot against Drake. Drake will have that cleared away pretty easily. And Strawberry going to keep this midfield. Pictus with another challenge. It's just going to go to Hayes, who doesn't have any boost and misses it. Azami now trying to play the ball, but gets a demo, and that slows them down enough to allow the Dignipaws to move out into offense. Now, Firestreak over to Strawberry. Good back pass, allowing for a little bit of rotational moving out of the ball here into the midfield. Strawberry not able to take another shot. And they're going to want that one back because that net was a little bit open, Docky.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot of pressure coming from the Purrsion 1 squad. Seems like they almost have full control of the pace here. There's been some opportunities for Dignipaws. They just quite haven't been able to convert on them when they have them. But they're getting beat, I think, to the ball here quite a bit. Unfortunately, being forced to play a lot more defense than I'm sure that they want to play. But it still is equal. So even with that being the case, they're still doing a good job to make sure they don't give up a lead and go down 1. I think that might be difficult because the opportunities they've had have been limited. So it might almost feel like going down 1 might almost spell the end of the match here. But again, good control. Way to get out of that defensive situation that they're in. Again, not quite connecting. They don't really have the pressure. It seems like they're kind of maybe trying to push the ball into the offensive third, but just not really doing anything with it. There's not really anyone to follow up. You're not really passing the ball to each other. So maybe some of that chemistry is just not quite there yet. But again, it is still level, so nothing to worry about too much here for Dignipaws.
Now Pick just trying to clear this one up high. Not going to be able to do much with it once again, as you were saying, Docky. These guys are trying to move it forward, but not really finding any offensive opportunities. Might find something here as Hayes beaten by Firestreak, but Strawberry, not a lot of boost to move forward on this ball. I'm going to have to wait for Azami's touch. Now Pictus puts this above the net. Strawberry only has a little bit of boost, can't really move forward on that. And now a demo is going to allow for an open net. Pictus, avoiding the bump, is going to get that save. 1:55, and we're still all tied up.
I think they're still going for some more of the physical play. We saw another demo come out, but that actually might come back to bite them. Pictus has an open net, and it's just too quick to that one. I think Purrsion 1 got a little bit too comfortable going for some of those bump plays, kind of forgot about those midfield rotations out, and Pictus with the free shot on net will take that every time. And with 1:47 left, Dignipaws up 1, and you like to see that. After they haven't had too much pressure, they're still able to get a goal out of it, so that's a good sign if you're Dignipaws.
Might be able to find something off this kickoff as they move into the Purrsion 1 corner. Hayes gonna have this one, has to play that fast to make sure Pictus doesn't get a good 50. Now it's Azami going to have this up. Drake staying back, the only teammate with boost on Purrsion 1 right now. Doesn't get a good touch and is able to block that net. But luckily, not allowing Purrsion 1 or Dignipaws to get another goal to add to their 1-goal lead. But Purrsion 1 still needing to find something here. 1:13 remaining. As we go back down the purple side, Strawberry is going to have the first touch on this. Looks for the top read off the ceiling, and it's going to be off the crossbar. Pick this with the shot. Hayes and Azami having to combine forces to get that out the net. But still, more Dignipaws offense as Hayes tries to clear this one out.
That isn't what you want to see if you're Purrsion 1. You definitely want to keep the control of the pace on your end and try to control the offensive attacks that you have. You don't want to see Dignipaws taking some of these more controlled offensive approaches that they've been having recently. A lot of passing plays coming out. Seems like they're starting to click now on offense. That there's people following up after the initial shots, so that's always really good. It's a good sign of just trusting each other and of having faith that there's going to be a ball there past you and not trying to worry too much about defending the long player. So That's good if you're Dignipaws. It's not great if you're Purrsion 1, but again, they've had a lot of offense here, so they definitely still have an opportunity to tie this game before it ends.
Now passing play, trying to come out. Drake looking for the double, not able to find it. 10 seconds left. And Purrsion 1 still need to find something. Azami low on boost. Pictet's going to put this one high. Will this hit the ground in 0 seconds? Drake tries to keep it alive. Gets it over Strawberry, but Fire Streak just going to get the long clear. And that's going to be Dignipaws taking game number 1.
Yeah, it's a great clear. It's a great play. They definitely came alive there in the second half there. I feel like they got more confident once they got that lead. They started making more pushing into the offense, and it really showed itself. It's a good sign if you're a Dignipaws, having that confidence to be able to start making some of those pushes, making Purrsion 1 a little bit more awkward, not giving them so much room. And yeah, they did a really good job of that. So the confidence is there, and that was really good to see them have more faith in each other there in the second half of that match.
Yeah, I have to agree, but Dignipaws looking pretty simple right now. As I would say, I definitely think that they're showing some offense, some good offense, lots of pressure, but they're not really showing anything too impressive to me right now. I am waiting to see what more they can bring to the table. But a win is a win. You take that either way, and I think that winning that game number 1 for Dignipaws is going to give them a boost in confidence, especially coming in with a new player. Meanwhile, for Purrsion 1, they're going to need to figure out how exactly to adapt to this this new team.
Yeah, threes is all about trying to kind of find a moment where you can start making a play on the ball, and then when you kind of feel into that rhythm, I think the game kind of opens itself up to you. So that happened there for Dignipaws, not quite for Purrsion 1. Their only goal coming off of a solo play, so we'll see if they're able to turn it around, maybe find some more rhythm, maybe make some more offensive passing plays, connecting on some of these opportunities they have. I think they definitely have the opportunity to do that. They definitely have the talent and the shooting ability, so we'll see if they're able to regain themselves here.
Now, trying to move out of the Purrsion 1 side. Pictus going to get a double. Not going to go towards net. Now Azami with a really good pinch, but Strawberry already up to challenge that. Drake having it over 1. It's just going to be Pictus in the back. Strawberry going to have to grab something. And now Drake and Pictus in a Rule 1. And it looks like they're going to keep it. Competitive integrity stays the same. However, Fire Streak knocks them out of it. And I don't know if that was necessarily a good idea, Docky.
Well, I mean, they still do have possession here, but we'll see if they're able to regain from maybe a little bit of a miscommunication. But again, the Dignipaws team, the confidence is definitely here to be able to kind of make some of these plays they're going for. And you love to see it, you know, winning or losing some of these possessions here. The confidence that they have going for it now seems to be at an all-time high. You see them already pushing again on the offensive.
Oh, I think Doc, you might have cut out a little bit, but I am still here, so do not worry, guys.
Oh.
But it looks like, oh, are you back here? You back?
I believe so.
Oh, you were gone for a second, so I got scared.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I will say, when it comes to this this match, while I'm seeing some confidence from Dignipaws, as you were saying, I'm seeing some slight hesitation from Purrsion 1. I'm kind of wondering if maybe they've just been having a little bit of an off week. They did just take their first mass loss during week 3, so I'm wondering if that has anything to do with the hesitation that we're seeing from them.
There definitely might be a little bit of that, and maybe trying to settle in with the new sub. I don't know how much reps they got, but I imagine it probably wasn't as much as they would have, obviously, with the full-time member. So, see if they're able to... I think maybe by the later stages of this series, that might start to become less of an issue. But as it is right now, the rotations are just not quite in line with each other. They're losing possession a lot here in the midfield, which is kind of indicative of that awkward rotation that they're having. But, man, Dignipaws just looks fantastic on some of these transitions. They have total faith in each other, and you can almost see it with the way that they're playing.
You can tell that these guys have been putting the grind work in. As I know for a fact, Fire and Pictus have been playing almost every day since he got picked up earlier this week by the squad. I think it's only been a couple of days, but they've been grinding those casual lobbies. Obviously, Fire not going to be playing GC3 lobbies in comp, but these casual lobbies seem to be working well for Dignipaws, and Pictus going to show more of that mechanical ability and getting those reads as he clears it down. Now Strawberry over to the corner. A minute 47 on the clock, and we still haven't had a score in this game. Both defenses have been very good. As a chance comes out for Dignipaws. Pull away to the side. Now a chance for Purrsion 1, and Pictus is going to be able to clear this one. But what we need to see from each of these teams to be able to score that first goal?
Well, I mean, I feel like as you were saying that, I feel like a goal almost was about to happen. I mean, at this point, Dignipaws just needs to do what they've been doing. I feel like a goal for them is almost inevitable. They keep playing like they've been playing. They have almost all the control.
Oh my!
These passing plays, they do exactly that as I say it. I mean, this is just beautiful. I'm not sure if this was an intentional. It looks like maybe an intentional pass, but Zombie is in the right spot, gets a fantastic touch, and they take the lead with 1:13 left. Doing exactly what they need to do, passing to each other. That's a fantastic shot from Azami.
And with it being such a low-scoring game, that could just be the golden goal that Purrsion 1 needs to tie this series up. However, a bit of a mistouch from Drake. Strawberry doesn't have the boost to go up for that, fortunately for them. And they will get away with that clear. But Pictus will be in immediately, dunking Drake on the goal line and getting another goal for Dignipaws, tying this game up.
Yeah, a little bit of an awkward touch from Drake. I'm not sure. He probably meant for that to be a little bit closer so he could make a play for 50. And I think Azami noticed that, maybe tried to make a play forward. And fortunately, Pictus is just so quick to that ball that they don't really have time to settle themselves up to that touch. So it is equal. But this is Purrsion 1's been playing, I think, a little bit better. They have another scoring opportunity here, but Firewolf could put an end to that. Both teams, I think, are looking to ramp things up. I think I'm seeing both teams play a little bit more consistent. Probably will mean that by the time we hit the end of this series, the game will be closer, but oh my goodness. Pictus snipes this top left. It didn't even look like there was a scoring opportunity here. That's a fantastic shot. He's a little bit too slow back to that, and Dignipaws back on top again. 37 seconds left. You have to feel that that might be in the back of the mind of Purrsion 1 here. They might go on triple match point.
Oh, a shot. Hayes barely unable to get that in. Fire will be in there in time to get the save. And yeah, with 30 seconds left, you don't want to be going down to match point right now if you're Purrsion 1, not after playing such a good game. They're going to have to try and find an equalizer here in the next couple of seconds, but Pictus on the ball. And Drake and the rest of the team just giving them so much space to work with. Not really anything they can do against it. Now Drake getting 100 boosts, but not getting the best first touch. Will the ball hit the ground once again at 0 seconds? Hayes keeps it up. Strawberry cleared to the side, but Drake will be there. Pictus with the long clear. Hayes has to get a good touch and misses. And that's going to be Dignipaws taking game number 2, and they are on match point now.
Yeah, and you can feel they feel confident in themselves. I mean, even when they were down there, they didn't let up. So I think the chemistry's clicking more on the side of Dignipaws than it is on Purrsion 1, and I think that's showing itself here on some of these transition plays that are happening. But Dignipaws seem to be playing very well together. This team looks to be reborn with Pictus as that new GC3. So let's see if Purrsion 1 can not let that get to them. They understand they're not out of it yet. They will need to reverse sweep, but I do believe that they can regain themselves if they need to.
Yeah, and Dignipaws honestly kind of looking like we saw them in their week 1 performance. Maybe not as heavily offensive as they were playing with Shelby during that week 1 match, but they definitely look like a reformed team. And Purrsion 1, they have the opportunities, they're having the chances that they need, but it's just not coming together. And they're gonna really need to figure out how to get through this Dignipaws defense if they want to start taking some games in this series. And as we get into DFH Stadium, what are you looking for Purrsion 1 to do to kind of bring the series back?
Well, I think they'll need to maybe cut some of these rotations, these awkward rotations out that they're having. A little bit of the touch is just a little bit more awkward than I think they're used to, and it's kind of forcing them to play a little bit slower, a little bit more, as you said earlier, hesitating, which I think is biting them right now. We'll see if they're able to kind of lock up those rotations, maybe trusting each other a little bit more, as you must do with new teammates. But already looking like it's offense for Dignipaws, and I mean, this is just that awkwardness that I was just referencing. This is a fantastic passing play from Pictus So not the best touch there from Azami, and Strawberry just in the right place at the right time. Knocks that one in on the right side, and 44-44. Dignipaws looks to keep doing what they've been doing.
Unfortunately for Purrsion 1, that's also going to be in your head as well. Starting game 3 with an immediate goal against you. Definitely going to be tough to come back here. We're going to have to see if they're able to do it. Azami going to get a long clear downfield, but no one going to be there. Strawberry demoed on the play, though. Should allow for a bit of a counterattack for Purrsion 1. Pick is already up in the air, though. Just waiting for that ball to come closer and closer to them. Just to get the dunk. And now Azami, awkward touch off of that 50, and Drake is going to be all the way back to clear this. And this might be what Purrsion 1 need to do. Clear it back towards their teammates. Try to take an attacking opportunity off of that. As we are seeing a lot of their rotations, them sticking towards that back of their own half. Very wide out rotations, not really staying in the midfield too often. And they might need to change that up a little bit if they want to find some more opportunities. Now Pictus going to be playing this by himself off of that read and almost gets the goal, but it is going to be thrown away to the side. 3:40 remaining. Purrsion 1 needing to find a goal. Going to be stopped out by Strawberry this time, and Pictus once again moving forward with this. No boost. He doesn't need any boost just to keep these guys guessing. Daki, what do you think? What are we seeing here? Are we going to see a Dignipaws victory? Purrsion 1, are they going to be able to come back?
No, Purrsion 1 doesn't start moving forward on some of these offensive plays that they're having. It will be a Dignipaws victory, almost guaranteed. Unfortunately for them, they've had some good opportunities. All is just kind of, I think, getting a little bit too far away from them. Some of the touches and the bounces they're getting are not going in their favor. As I say that, as a pick just gets a fantastic touch. Zami with a almost miracle save, gets it off the crossbar, and they're able to luckily stay away from a 2-goal deficit. And again, these bounces are just so awkward. They're not quite able to react to them in a timely manner or as quickly as they need to. And Dignipaws just seems to be all over all of these bounces. They're scoring at every opportunity they seem to have. And luckily for Purrsion 1, they've done a really good job of making sure that there aren't as many opportunities as Dignipaws would like. But at this point, most of the opportunities have been on Dignipaws' side. They've had a lot of possession here in the midfield. So we'll see if Purrsion 1's able to control it, maybe get it past. But right now, they're just unfortunately not able to get these balls in favorable positions, as another miss on the backfield will lead to a Fire Streak goal. And this is just awkward. I don't think... Yeah, it's double commit, both missing. Azami's in an awkward position, has to read, flips early, and that's just unfortunate. 2-goal lead for Dignipaws, almost feels like that's certainty for them at this point, but not over yet. 2:15 left in the match. Purrsion 1 looking a little bit more awkward, and I think maybe the triple match point is starting to get to them and make them play a little bit more panicky.
It just seems like there's a lot of passive play coming out from Purrsion 1 right now. Just very slow on these challenges, slow to move the ball upfield, trying to take their time with everything, and it is really costing them. Fire Streak and company, they just have all the confidence in the world. Pictus gets the pass out, and Fire Streak notices that Drake doesn't take the opportunity when the ball bounces and just takes the easy dunk, noticing that there's a good chance that he doesn't have any boost. And I mean, when you're challenging like that, when you're that confident, Daki, goals just kind of come one after the other. And now 3 behind. Purrsion 1 looking a little bit out of this match at this point.
And in that situation, you're glad looking to take these shot opportunities, and they're just there. This ball's just bouncing in the midfield. A little bit of a mistouch from Hayes. Probably did not mean to get the double that way. Zami has a difficult time reading that. Probably didn't expect it to go straight up and down. And I mean, Strawberry's all over that. And these opportunities that Dignipaws is having is coming off of a majority of misplays. I think that are just awkward rotations due to probably, if I had to guess, having, that new player coming in and trying to figure out rotations as you go. That's always a really difficult task. And when you're up against a team that's connecting as well as Dignipaws is, you're at such a huge disadvantage. It's really hard to get some of these plays moving forward. You kind of start to wish for them. I think we saw earlier, a misplay happening off of a hopeful solo play that just didn't happen for them. So, I mean, yeah, Dignipaws, they're connecting, and when you're up against a team that's not quite connecting as well as they are, you almost feel like it's a forlorn conclusion at that point.
Yeah, as we're in the Purrsion 1 corner once again, 1:03 remaining in this game, and down by 3. They're gonna need to find something very quick if they want to come back here. Now an opportunity. will be found. Azami trying to take that ball off of Drake to try and put it towards net. Not able to find the touch against the 50 that came out. Now Azami down to Hayes. Gonna see if they have a chance here. Hayes has good control, but not enough boost to really play the play forward. Now Drake trying to keep this in that corner, but with time ticking down on this clock, there's only so much you can do, and that shot gonna be wide. Hayes is above the net. Azami no touch, and Dignipaws get away with it again. And I was saying down by 3. I meant 4. I forgot that last one went in, but I think at this point it's just a formality. It's looking very likely Dignipaws take this one in a sweep, and they're looking like a dominant team in week 4. We'll have to see what they can bring to the next players that they face, but I'd be scared if I was facing Dignipaws.
Yeah, this team is just connecting. It's so difficult, I think, to find cracks in the defense there when they're kind of rotating like they have been. They always have someone back. They always have someone that can cut on those midfield passing plays that Purrsion 1 was trying for. And then, of course, when shooting opportunities happen, they always have someone that's there to take the shot. So when you have rotations that are that tight, that are that clean, I mean, it's so hard to win against that. And Dignipaws, I think, showing that, you know, they've been playing together, I think, a little bit. Pictus is obviously a fantastic rotational threes player. And yeah, that's a tough team to play. I think Purrsion 1 played as best as they could, given the circumstances, going up against a team that was clicking as well as Dignipaws was clicking. But, you know, GG's for Dignipaws. They played fantastic.
Yeah, and a sweep to start the day bodes very well for Dignipaws. I'm thinking that they're going to be very happy to see that one, especially after last week. They're definitely going to want to get as many wins as possible. But Purrsion 1 now going to be 2-2 on the season. Definitely going to be moving down some rankings there. They're going to have to figure out a way to come back. I know that I had heard from the manager in Cookie Cat that the mental was not necessarily the best throughout the entire week. This is probably just the cap to that. You'd expect them to have a little bit of a better mental coming into next week. Hopefully just take a couple of days to reset, get back into training, figure out what went wrong, and fix it for your next week. But I am very confident that Purrsion 1 have the skills to come back in week number 5. But we have 2 more matches to be done today, guys. Up next, we are going to have a very interesting one that I'm sure Docky is going to want to get over to his team to start practicing for, as he will have a little bit of time to get through this one. Not much, but up next, after this little break, guys, we're going to have OwOptic Gaming versus X3 Tactics. So stick around. You're not going to want to miss this.
too far to say that we cannot pretend now. Was it never enough to have just everything you want? In your shadow I found a place to hide me from my own thoughts. And if I ever got lost, you find a way to bring me home. And I want something I can hold, that's worth this waiting cold. And I want something that is real, something to make me feel alive. I want something I can hold, that's worth this waiting cold. And I want something that is real, something to make me feel alive.
Hello and welcome on back to RFDL Week 4 Day 2. I'm Ecliptic Fades. I'm here with Aerolax and Firestreak. And Fire, congratulations on sweeping Purrsion 1 there. That was a very dominant series from Dignipaws.
I mean, thank you. Purrsion is a great team, and they definitely did not play badly. So GG's to them, and honestly, I think they're going to bounce back strong next week. So, well played. Pictus and Strawberry are goated though. So,
Yeah, I absolutely have to agree with you there. Just it felt like just the entirety of Dignipaws was just working so very well together, and I can definitely just tell why you're so excited that Pictus is on the team.
Pictus goated, and Strawberry is filling her role very nice as well. So, we're happy. Spirits are up.
Yeah, I have to say, you guys looking a lot better than you were previously. Obviously, Melon's still a very goated player, but it just seems like you guys have a bit of a honeymoon phase with Pictus here. And meanwhile, on the other end, Purrsion 1, winning their first two series to now dropping their next two. They're looking like they're having a couple of issues that they're really going to need to try and iron out going later and later into this season. I'm sure that they'll be able to get through it, but what'd you think of the game, Aerolax? I know that you were sitting on the sidelines, so what were your thoughts?
I was just kind of watching from I guess, like behind the desk here, and it really, like, the big thing that I was seeing is that Purrsion 1 was just being just that little bit too passive, and it was giving Dignipaws so much space to work with. And that combined with the addition of Pictus, Dignipaws is already a good team as is, and given that extra space, it isn't really surprising that it ended in a sweep.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think that, you know, there's definitely some work to be done for Purrsion 1, but get back to the drawing board for next week, and I'm sure they'll figure it out. But we do have some other games to get through today, and we're about to start a really interesting one. OwOptic Gaming versus X3 Tactics is going to be quite a game. X3 Tactics is still perfect on the season. Meanwhile, OwOptic only taking that one loss, but they're definitely going to want to try and dethrone the top of the league right now.
I mean, yeah, OwOptic has played really well so far this season. They're definitely looking like one of the stronger, if not strongest teams in the league. But X3, they're number one in the league and the reason right now, and they are definitely the team to beat at this point. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, because OwOptic, they're definitely one of the teams that have the capability to take a win against X3. So
Yeah, but you got to remember just really how just insane a team X3 is. As was mentioned, just currently 3-0 in series score, which is definitely not something to be taken lightly, because even though we're still like at the start of the season, they've been up against some fairly formidable matches, even going Game 5 overtime event against Black Bunny and winning that in just one goal in overtime, which is an absolutely insane feat.
Yeah, they've definitely had some very tough matchups. They've also had a couple of matchups that weren't as tough. I would really point to BDS that first week playing with the sub and Infernal. With the whole roster not there, not able to really mesh or anything, especially right after having to change managers so quickly. I think that was a little bit of a gimme for them, as I'd love to see them play against BDS as they are right now, but unfortunately not going to be able to happen until the second half of league play, or possibly the mid-season tournament. We'll have to wait and see for that. So let's go ahead and start talking about some of these squads. Let's talk about OwOptic Gaming, because they are going to have a bit of a roster switch here, and obviously the free card is here. So Gala, actually, we found out from some insider or some behind-the-scenes info that Gala had moved off of the Lumosity roster as Avid has replaced them. So they went to free agents, and Daki has picked them up as a player for this week, and I believe, I might be correct in this, a full-time player, as Not Joe doesn't really have enough time between all of the CRL responsibilities and everything else they do to play full-time in the league. So Gala going to be getting picked up full-time by this squad, so this is going to be their first time playing with OwOptic Gaming. How do you guys think that's going to fare for the team going into this very tough matchup?
I mean, Gala, we've seen the player Gala can be. We saw all of last season on that very strong Black Bunny roster. So I don't think it'll make too much of a difference, especially since Gala has a fairly similar, more aggressive playstyle as Not Joe did. Now, naturally, losing Not Joe as the Week 1 MVP, if I remember right, is
correct.
Is never going to be something that's a positive thing for a team. So, I mean, if there is a team that can adapt to it, it's going to be OwOptic, but definitely not an easy task.
Yeah, it's definitely not an easy task indeed, but you got to remember that Gala was on the team of Black Bunny Gaming last season, who were just absolutely dominating the league. And while yes, Hammer's goated, you also have to give a lot of that credit to Gala, because he was fitting into that roster so very well. And if this team can kind of find that mesh, kind of figure out what made Gala so successful on that roster, and is able to implement that into the OwOptic Gaming squad, they are definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with for sure.
Yeah, personally, I am looking forward to seeing Gala play again. Obviously, they've had a week off as Avid did start coming in for Lumimosity, but they were starting to really look good on that team. I want to see if they can transfer their performance over to OwOptic, which is going to be a little bit, honestly, I think a bit easier to work with. They have a very offense-based play style, especially with Daki and T-Park on the roster and their previous chemistry. I think Gala's going to find it pretty easy to link up with them, and I'm really excited to see what they can make on the side of the offensive in terms of creative plays, because I know that they can get some very creative passing plays going with the amount of offense that each of them has. So very excited to see, but we will talk about their opponents now. Top of the league, it is going to be X3 Tactics, and this team has just been popping off in the in and off the RFDL pitch. Shy, Rude Boy, Brian, and Corrupt. Shy going to GC2 recently in their ranked games, and Corrupt hitting SSL for the first time. So these guys are on a high. Are they going to be able to be defeated?
So here is the thing. I think the biggest thing that I've seen improve from Corrupt is just his mental is still getting better and better every week. He's still working on that, I know. And his mental is just getting stronger and stronger as the season goes on. Shy is also a very strong player, definitely capable of making some really good plays, but the backbone of this team is Brian. He is the one that is really holding that pressure on the offense, being a brick wall on that in the midfield, and really slowing the game down enough after Corrupt and Shy go for those offensive plays. Brian's doing a really good job of just slowing the game down just a little bit after they both commit upfield, and giving them time to get back on that defensive half in that transition phase going from offense to defense. So, I mean, I'm really excited to see this team play once again. Really excited to see these three mesh together as well as they have, and I guess we'll just need to wait and see if they can put it together to be going up 4-0 on the season.
Yeah, and I've completely got to agree with you there, Fire. And one thing that I do want to mention specifically, as you mentioned, Corrupt, working on his mentality for the game. Mentality is such a big part of Rocket League, and the fact that he's working on that, and then pretty much directly after getting SSL, really just proves just how big of a part of the game that is. And not only that, but just being able to bring that mentality into a team setting not only helps you, but can also help your teammates as well. And if he is able to do so, if he's able to bring that into that team setting, helping both Rude Boy, Brian, and Shy in that, they're definitely going to continue their dominance for sure.
Yeah, I have to agree, and I believe the chat does too. 100% of the prediction going towards X3 Tactics. Clearly the favorites to win today. Their record is, perfect on the season. It just makes sense that you would vote for them to win. What do we need to see from OwOptic here to take down this titan of a team right now?
So I think the biggest thing that needs to be done to beat X3 is to shut down the Corrupt passing to Shy connection. Right now, Corrupt first in shots per game. He's putting on so much pressure, and then Shy is second in goals per game. That's not a coincidence there. Corrupt might not have the assists per game to be hitting those direct passes, but if you let Corrupt pressure you for long enough where you start to get any sort of awkwardness in rotations or any sort of low on boost, Shy is going to be right there to clean up that goal. 10 out of 10 times you can't let that happen. So if they're able to keep Corrupt from pressuring him for long and keeping Shy from getting those quick follow-up goals, they're going to be they'll have a chance in this match, and I think they are a team that can do it. So we'll need to see if they're able to translate that onto the pitch.
Yeah, I can't really say anything more there.
What are we looking? So I guess at the same time, we would probably just be looking for Kurut and the squad to do exactly what they've been doing. Just put on that offensive pressure that we know them for, and things should start working out for them. Very simple game plan for them. It's going to be a lot harder, I think, for OwOptic to come back. I think winning game 1 is going to be kind of crucial for them so they can get some confidence going into the matchup. Let's take a look at our predictions here on the desk before we get into this match. And let's see. We have from Fire, they go X3 Tactics in 5. I have OwOptic sweeping, and Aerolax has X3 in 5 as well. So once again, a bit of a split on the desk going to game 5 for 2 of you guys. I said OwOptic with a sweep. Might be a little bit of a a flash in the pan on that prediction there, but we'll see exactly how this goes. But everybody is in the lobby. We're gonna get ready to go here, and it is gonna be US Central for this one, so it's gonna be very good to go. I'm gonna let everybody know that we're about to get started, and while I do that, I just want to know, which players are you guys looking at the most today on the field, if you have to pick one specifically?
Oh, just choosing one from each team, or just one in general?
One in general.
Oh gosh. I think I'll leave Arrow to do what I think we're both thinking. So I'm going to say I'm looking at Brian this week. I am looking squarely at him to see if he can maintain being that midfield and defensive stronghold that X3 has not necessarily relied on, but has been so helpful.
Oh. We good?
I think we lost Fire.
I think we lost Fire.
Oh. Okay, well, while he's trying to figure out what's going on, my prediction, fairly obvious. I'm going to be looking at Gala, because very, very good player in their own right. Sadly wasn't meshing as well as Avid on Lumimosity, which is why they were switched out, but I'm sure that on OwOptic, they are going to be definitely a very, very good fit for the team overall.
Yeah, I have to agree. We'll have to see if Fire gets back here soon, as he is supposed to cast this game. Let me see. He just his PC restarted, so he'll be back as soon as possible.
Oh, fun.
So, I don't want to make these guys wait any longer, though. So we are going to go ahead and get into it. Aerolax and Fire are going to be casting this one when Fire gets back. But for now, guys, it's the Battle of Greens. OwOptic versus X3 Tactics. Gonna be seeing if OwOptic can ruin X3 Tactics. Perfect record on the season. Let's get started. Take it away, Arrow.
Thank you. As we get into this game, you're going to see X3 Tactics using the away colors, just so that nothing's confusing here, but we're going to have OwOptic Gaming immediately starting with a lot of pressure on this X3 Tactics side, as that one is just going to get popped in. Gala already just showcasing how good of a fit they are for this team. Just slamming that one straight into the net. Korup not able to be there at all, and Shy actually backflipping in the net. That is very, very unfortunate overall. But X3 Tactics definitely going to be able to recover from that. As Korup going to get a save over to the side here. Gala very quick on that. Able to just really challenge Korup really, really quickly there. But we're seeing a lot of back and forth here. Gala, once again, just really quick on those challenges, not allowing X3 Tactics any space on this ball. See over to the side here. Gonna be put into the corner. Daki slamming this one downfield. Korup gonna try and turn this one around, but it's just gonna go as far as T-Park. Over to Gala, who's gonna put a shot on net. Ruboy Brian has to put that one away. T-Park with the fake, opting for Gala. Try and put a shot on net here, and another one And that one just off the post. But Gala already putting on so many shots on this X3 Tactics net here. And it's looking very, very dominant overall. But Korup, off the pass from Shy, is going to slot a shot right into the back of the OwOptic Gaming net. And X3 Tactics might be starting to come back in this one, as only a minute has gone by. 1-1 overall. We're gonna have to see which team can get the upper hand here. As Shy gonna have to get a touch here over to Daki. He's just gonna try and get a shot over to T-Park, but Korup gonna be right there to get the save. Past Gala as well, but Daki going to be there to challenge that one. It's gonna go almost off to Gala. Shy with the shot, but Daki has to get the save. Rude Boy Brian missing that touch there. Korup has to get the double there. Gala putting that one off into a safe area. Shy nearly getting the shot, but Daki able to put that one away. And Korup with a great shot off the wall is going to put in a second for X3 Tactics, and is already looking like the momentum has completely shifted. OwOptic Gaming getting that first shot, but now X3 Tactics just immediately answering with 2 of their own. And what a great shot it is. We're gonna have to see if OwOptic Gaming can answer those 2 goals, as Daki gonna put this one off to the midfield. Shy not getting the touch there. Korup has to get a crucial touch to control that. Now Daki not able to follow that one. Korup once again having to get a good save here. T-Park trying to get it around. He's going to go as far as Gala, as this one is nearly in. Daki trying to get that through, but Korup gonna get the save, and I believe we actually have Fire back on the desk. Fire, how are you doing?
Good. It looks like X3 Tactics is up by 2 right now. OwOptic, or I'm sorry, up by 1. Yes, we're doing good now. So it looks like Arrow, go ahead and continue here while I get back online.
All right, no worries, no worries. We're gonna see just so much pressure back and forth from both of these sides, as X3 Tactics trying to get this one out to Korup with a great pinch off to the midfield. Daki has to get a crucial touch, but it's just going to go as far as Rude Boy Brian, who nearly puts it through. Gala being that back line, and T-Park saving that follow-up from Korup. A great defensive masterclass from OwOptic Gaming here, as T-Park gets a great fake, flicking it up high. Korup has to put this one over to the corner. We're seeing a lot of pressure from OwOptic Gaming, and Gala once again slotting that one through the X3 Tactics defense. And Gala once again showing how great of a fit they are on this team.
Yeah, Gala, that's not an easy angle to hit right there, so very well done by Gala to be able to find the angle on that and slot that near post on the net. As we see Gala once again taking control of the ball, trying to get a 50 with Korup, is able to do so, but Korup is just so good with the follow-up and is going to take it around the entire OwOptic roster to put that one right in the back of the net.
And that is a very, very good shot as well, putting X3 Tactics back up by 1. With 90 seconds remaining, OwOptic once again finding themselves in the position of having to score yet another goal to stay in this game. But Shy gonna try and increase that goal lead, as Daki has to get a crucial save over to the corner. Korup with the follow, gets the double, and X3 Tactics just absolutely insane plays coming out from them.
I mean, I said we need to watch for the pressure coming from Korup and then Shy finishing it, but we kind of saw the opposite right there. Shy just establishing that pressure so well, and Korup having the mechs to just be able to put that shot away, and that's why this team is so good. They're so versatile. But now we're seeing Shy getting a clear out, Korup popping it high. Shy is going to try to get a touch on this mid, unable to do so, but the defense is just a little bit loose there, and Korup is going to take advantage, putting yet another one home, putting X3 up by 3, 1 minute left.
While X3 is currently up by 3, you gotta give credit for OwOptic Gaming. They are still, even with this 3-goal deficit, they are still staying in this game. we're going to have to see if they can start converting a little bit more. As Shy going to send this one far downfield. Daki just going to pop this one up. Try and get a follow here, but Korup going to be a bit faster this ball. Now Ruboy Brian clearing this one far downfield. Gala trying to rush for this. Waiting a little bit for that touch from Korup to get a more controlled touch. And a bit of a 50 here. It's going to pop up to Ruboy Brian. Puts it over to Shy, but Shy just not quite quick enough to get there. Which allows Gala and Daki to start moving this one back upfield. 30 seconds remaining as T-Park going to put this one off the backboard. Shy not going to get a touch, but Korup, very crucial touch over the entirety of the OwOptic Gaming squad, having to scramble back to try and set up another attack, but with 10 seconds left, it is all but over, and X3 Tactics is going to win this first game.
Very impressive performance by X3 on this one. They've really taken control of this game, at least for the second half that I've seen, and they just look to be in full control of every 50. Every possession seems to be going exactly the way they want it to. And, I mean, you can't ask more of a team. They just seem to be doing everything they want when they want to. And that's going to bode well for them if they're able to keep that up in this series.
Yeah, absolutely, it will. But I just want to point out that besides those 3 goals right at the end, both of these squads were pretty much neck and neck for quite a lot of that game. And I feel that OwOptic Gaming, if they're just able to figure out just what was going on in that game, like what X3 was really, like what their tactics are in that game that was allowing them to score so many more goals. Once OwOptic Gaming is able to figure that out, I feel that this is going to be a very, very close match. And as both me and Fire predicted, possibly even going to a Game 5.
I mean, a Game 5 series would be exactly what we're looking for, wouldn't it? And it's really good to see that Gala is meshing in fairly well with this roster of OwOptic, exactly like he needs to if they're going to be able to bring this one back in favor of OwOptic. Because he is making some really good plays on that defensive front and is definitely not silent on the offensive side of the ball either, which I think in the long term is going to bode very well for OwOptic, whether it be for the rest of this series or going into next. So, I mean, I think OwOptic is going to really show up, and if there is a team that can adjust, it's going to be them as we go in to the first kickoff of this Game 2. It's going to go into the back corner of OwOptic. Oh, Daki trying to take possession. Going to try to bang it forward. Unable to get it past Korup, though. In the long term, it's going to get there, though. And they're just not able to convert. Gala keeping pressure. And early on, we're seeing lots of pressure from OwOptic here, Arrow.
Indeed we are. Very, very similar to what we saw in Game 1. With a lot of pressure from OwOptic Gaming, eventually ending in a goal. But X3 finally able to break out of it here, as Daki has to get a crucial save out to the corner. But it's going to get popped right back to the middle. Ruboy Brian almost getting that shot off that pass. But it's just going to be off to the side. Gala going to have to try and follow this one up. Korup taking this over one, but a pinch out. Gala going to be able to chase this one down. And Daki with the shot. It's going to be off the post. And that is so unfortunate for the OwOptic Gaming side, as they're going to have to try and scramble back. Just try and fend off this counterattack as Daki clearing this one over to the corner. And a minute gone by so far. Still no scores, but we've seen so many chances for both of them, and we're going to have to see which one can finally break through the defense.
I'm liking what I'm seeing from OwOptic here. They're taking a lot of 50s, and they're mostly going in OwOptic's favor. So if they're able to keep that up, it's going to be good for them. And we see Gala making a huge save on that back line, which is exactly what we want to see out of this free agent for the week. And I mean, Gala showing up big early on for OwOptic in this game. Daki trying to take possession. And Brian is going to get the 50 on him, get it over 2. So T-Park is going to need to try to control this out, kind of slow down the game for his team, as Corrupt is going to take control. He has space, is able to get it over 1, but Daki is going to stop it right there. Daki trying for the 50, ends up getting faked by Shy. T-Park is going to bang it into the corner. Gala trying to get a shot, is going to get beat by Korup though. And they're getting a pass middle. It's going to be a bit high for a direct shot, though. Gala is going to get a pass over to the middle, and Daki is there for OwOptic, securing the first goal of the game.
And that is a great play as well. Just Gala getting a pinch that just slams it off that backboard, sorry. And Daki just in the perfect position to follow that up. A great play overall. Just keeping up that pressure on that X3 Tactics side. We're gonna have to see if this time OwOptic Gaming can keep this lead, but Korup gonna try and say no to that as T-Park has to get a save on that ball there. We're seeing T-Park trying to move this one down. It's going to go to Shy, but Gala once again very, very quick to that ball, just not allowing X3 Tactics any space. Now Korup with a reset over, T-Park has to control this one. And a 50 with Ruboy Brian, and another one with Shy. It's going to pop dangerously into the center. Korup 50ing that into the corner. Gala having to pop this one over. Getting a great play here. We're going to have to see T-Park with a demo, and Docket with the shot. And Ruboy Brian with a fantastic save. Keeping that goal lead only at 1, but then immediately missing the follow-up, and Gala going to put in the second one for OwOptic Gaming.
I mean, that was exactly what X3 needed out of Brian. He secured the save on that dangerous shot, but the follow-up was kind of a bit heavy, which that's going to leave OwOptic with a little bit of space to be able to take another shot on net, and with the awkwardness they had, that's going to go in more times than not. We're seeing Daki trying to possess it out of his half, and he's doing a good job of it. Gala's going to slot that one home, putting OwOptic up 3-0 with 1:32 left in this game. It seems like they can't be stopped this game.
Yeah, and OwOptic Gaming, as you said, just coming out absolutely dominantly here. X3 Tactics gonna have to try and figure out what's going on here. What OwOptic Gaming has possibly figured out about their playstyle that is making them play so very well against them. As Korup gonna challenge that, but Gala just getting a great beat. Doesn't get the follow-up, but Daki gonna be there. Shy getting a save. It's still very dangerous. Gala getting a great 50, keeping that in the danger zone for X3 Tactics, but Korup finally gonna get a bit of breathing room here. Trying to fake out Daki, doesn't do so. Then another fake from Shy here. It's only going to get bumped for it. Korup getting that one past one, but Gala gonna be right on that back line. Shy with the shot. It's going to get pinched out all the way to the other side. And with 45 seconds left, X3 Tactics is gonna have to try and find something fast, or else they are going to be looking at a tied series.
I mean, right now we're seeing OwOptic just put on so much pressure, even though they are up 3-0. They're insatiable. They need more. So we're going to see T-Park going up for the aerial, just going to pop it up for Gala. Gala's going to be beat to that by Brian, so he's going to opt for taking a possession touch. Daki, trying to come forward with the ball, is going to get dunked once again by Ruboy Brian, who just seems to be controlling that midfield exactly the way X3 wants him to. But with 5 seconds left, it's going to look like this game is just about over as Daki gets a final dunk to drop the ball. And that's just a really good performance by OwOptic. I'm seeing on the X3 Tactics side, Brian is performing his role very well, but just not quite getting the support he needs from those two upper ranked players. So I'm going to be looking at them to see if they're able to take a little bit more control of this game and kind of pull a little bit more weight for that X3 Tactics side.
Yeah, I completely agree, but OwOptic Gaming coming back in that series very, very well, and in a very, very dominant fashion as well, because X3 Tactics winning that first game by 3, 2-5, but then OwOptic coming back and winning by 3 as well, except it was 3-0 this time, completely shutting out X3 Tactics. And that's the momentum that they're really going to want to continue going further in this series, because as we said before, X3 Tactics definitely not a squad to be slept on. They are very, very dominant and definitely deserving of that #1 spot that they have so far. but OwOptic Gaming is definitely coming for that #1 spot. You can see it in how they're playing.
Yeah, it just looks like there might be a couple cracks in the armor that OwOptic is doing a really good job of taking advantage of. And I mean, if there is a team that's going to be able to do that throughout an entire series, it is going to be OwOptic. They've shown they're a strong team so far, and they are just showing that as this series goes on. And they're showing why they are a top 3 team in the league currently. As we head into this first kickoff, Daki is going to secure the pressure early on. Gala unable to finish it, and a little bit of a awkward rotation by Daki and T-Park there. They usually don't have that happen, so they're going to want to clean that up going forward. And it looks like there's going to be an early pinch that's going to allow OwOptic to take a lead only 15 seconds into this game.
And that is a great start for OwOptic Gaming there. We're going to have to just see if X3 Tactics can answer back like they did in Game 1. But as was said before, OwOptic Gaming has a lot of momentum on their side as Gala going to put this one over. It's going to go off the side, but very dangerous still as T-Park going to get a 50 all the way over to the other side. Shy going to control this, but doesn't have any boost to really make a play. And Daki nearly getting the 50 to drop straight into the net. It's just going to go right off the post. Trying to get this one over. Korup going to just challenge that easy. And Gala not quite there to get the save. Korup tying this game up with only 40 seconds gone.
That's a great shot that's a great challenge by Korup, just being exactly where he needs to be as soon as OwOptic gets awkward. And if you're an OwOptic fan, you're not going to like seeing them be a little bit more awkward this game than last game. We've already seen a couple instances of it. Korup is going to have time though, he was looking for a reset for a second there, but opts to fake it. Shy has control, is going to try to get it mid. It's going to be a bit high though. And Shy is going to run out of boost, leaving Korup to fill in that gap. Korup going for a double, but Gala exactly where he needs to be, exactly when he needs to be there, and that's going to be an amazing save as OwOptic tries to put on a bit of pressure. And OwOptic Daki trying to play it mid. That's going to bounce middle, but Brian is there for the save, as he so often is. Korup passing it mid. Shy is going to try to get to it, but Gala is going to match him. And Daki's going to be trying to keep the pressure on. And, I mean, OwOptic, lots of pressure right after that kickoff.
Indeed they do, but X3 starting to get a bit of a breakaway here. No one from OwOptic Gaming there to challenge that. Korup putting that one way high. And Gala not quite reading the ceiling touch. T-Park gonna get the redirect, and Daki gonna get the follow-up. And OwOptic Gaming scores the second one for their team off of a great counterattack there. And that is a glorious play. T-Park putting that one off the side, and Daki once again just being there to just follow that up and slam it home. And OwOptic Gaming starting to find, I guess, just a new life here as they're getting a very, very dominant performance over X3 Tactics. Very different to what we saw in Game 1. But X3 Tactics definitely not going to give up just yet, because they are definitely able to adapt to this new OwOptic Gaming squad. That one's going to get popped over. Gala going to try and turn this one around, but it's only going to go as far as Ruboy Brian, who is going to put this one in a bit of a dangerous position here. Gala trying to get that one out, but Korup going to be there for the shot, but T-Park going to have to save that one away. Half the time remaining. OwOptic Gaming still up by 1, but as I say that, immediate caster curse comes out, and Korup going to score the second one for X3 Tactics, putting this game tied once again.
I mean, that's a beautiful pass by Brian, and Korup just does such a good job of getting up to that ball and just beating both players that we're going for on the OwOptic Gaming side of it. And I mean, anytime you can just flat out beat a double commit like that, that's going to be very favorable for your team, and in more cases than not will lead to a goal. But we see X3 trying to continue that momentum, getting some early pressure after that goal, and there's going to be a 50 in the midfield. Daki is going to try to control this, is going to try to get that boost pad. He misses it though, and we're seeing a bit of pressure coming from the X3 Tactics side here. Gala going for the save is able to get it, and Gala is going to try to clear it out, is going to get dunked by Brian though. A bit of a double commit once again from the OwOptic Gaming side, and that's their pride and joy, is just being on the same page, and they just seem to be a little bit less organized in this game than we saw in game 2 from them. Daki is going to try to control this to the wall, unable to get the touch he wants though, and is going to leave it middle, and Corrupt is going to be there every day of the week. Great pressure.
That is so unfortunate from Daki here, having to get a save off of that to keep it from going into a dangerous position, but just not quite getting the right touch. And that just drops straight in front of Korup, who's easily going to score that every day of the week. And X3 Tactics now up by 1 with only 80 seconds left. Looking to score another one, but if they're just able to keep this lead, then they are going to put themselves on match point, which is definitely a great place to be, as they're also getting a lot of pressure here. This one's just going to pop middle, but Gala going to be there to put that one safely into the corner. Now Shy going to try and pop that one mid. No one from X3 Tactics there. It's going to allow T-Park to get this double here. Getting it in a very awkward position. OwOptic Gaming starting to find a lot of pressure here, but a bit of a miss there. That's going to allow Korup to get a shot and gets the dunk over Daki, but Shy gonna have to try and follow that. Daki is not there. And 40 seconds remaining. X3 Tactics now up by 2.
That's the sort of thing that we were saying before the match. OwOptic can't allow those pressure plays where Shy follows it up quickly. That is the bread and butter of X3 Tactics, and it's really tough to be able to shut that down when you start to get a little bit low on boost like OwOptic did in that situation. They're going to try to claw this back, but it's a tall order as you are going up against the #1 seeded team in this league. With only 30 seconds left, down by 2, that's not a place that any team wants to be, especially as they seem to just be getting so much pressure for X3 right now. Shy is going to put another one home. He's so good at finishing up that pressure once his teammates are able to establish it. And once again, we see X3 up by 3.
Yeah, very similar to the scoreline from game 1. Starting to see like these players might be reading the same page of the script over again, as we're gonna have to try and just notify them that you're supposed to flip the page before you start playing once again. But we're gonna have to see if OwOptic Gaming can come back from this, as the timer is going to hit 0. Gala's gonna put this one down, and X3 Tactics going to be on double match point here. OwOptic Gaming now looking at a very difficult challenge ahead of them, having to win not 1, but 2 games against the #1 seeded team so far in the league. That is a very difficult position for them.
They're definitely capable of it, though. We saw game 2, they shut down those passing plays and those situations where they're just getting out-pressured, and then Shy just coming in and finishing off the possession for X3, and if they're able to do that, they're going to be just fine in this series. However, X3 is so hard to do that against because they are so good at just holding pressure until any crack forms in the defense and just putting the ball home as soon as at the first available opportunity. And I mean, OwOptic, they're going to be looking back. What were they doing different from game 2 compared to the other 2 games in this series so far, and seeing if they can replicate that sort of gameplay that they were so known for in the first 2 weeks of this season and was working for them in game 2. So we'll just need to see if they're able to get back to that, and for their own sake, I hope they are.
And I hope so as well, because as I said, both of us predicting X3, but we thought that this was definitely going to go to a Game 5, and I know that OwOptic Gaming is definitely capable of forcing that Game 5 as we head into Game 4 here, possibly the last one of the series, as Ruboy Brian gonna pop this one over off the kickoff. Gala not getting the greatest touch, but it's just gonna allow Daki to help clear this one into the corner. And a good 50 as well, gonna be able to grab that boost and pop that one center. Korup in a little bit of a dangerous position, gonna control that, getting a very interesting reset there. but it's only going to allow for a shot to come out, but Shy gonna be able to clear that one away. We're seeing OwOptic Gaming once again getting a lot of pressure to start off the match, as Gala gonna get a long clear. Doc is going to be up for this, gets the redirect, but no one from OwOptic Gaming is there to finish that one off. And we're gonna have to see if OwOptic Gaming can keep up this pressure and possibly force this game 5.
On the offensive side, I'm seeing a little bit of something different from OwOptic, which is good to see. I'm seeing Daki trying to establish that pressure. He's trying to push the pace of the game for his team, and that's exactly what he needs to do if OwOptic is going to be able to climb their way back into this series. But we see Corrupt getting possession and a good shot on net. Daki is going to be there, though. T-Park is able to secure that boost, which is going to allow for a clear and a potential switch of possession here. Gala trying to work that middle, unable to do so, though. T-Park getting a 50. Daki's going to follow it up, is able to get a touch on it. That's going to bounce wide, though, and Shy is going to have a pinch going towards the middle of the field. Daki clearing it to the side. T-Park getting it over one. Corrupt is going to be there for the double off a sidewall, though. Corrupt getting it over Gala. T-Park is going to try to follow that up. Daki is going to take possession, though. T-Park, a little bit awkward there. Gala's going to want to follow this up. It's over Gala, and that's going to be an unfortunate own goal on the side of OwOptic, and I think that was a savable ball, potentially, if T-Park was able to wrap around that a bit better, but just kind of gets a little bit awkward, which is going to give X3 the first goal of this game. 3:06 left.
Yeah, and that's very, very unfortunate from T-Park there, because as you said, he was definitely able to wrap around that and get that one out, just possibly panicking a little bit because he did not see that there was so much space that X3 Tactics was giving them. No one from X3 Tactics was there to challenge that ball and put a shot on net. And that awareness is something that is very, very difficult to practice, but also very crucial, especially in those places where you are just under constant pressure. Just being aware of where you have those openings is crucial if you want to get out of those dangerous positions. But X3 Tactics going to continue this relentless pressure on the OwOptic Gaming side, as Daki going to clear this one over to the other side, make the play a little bit awkward for X3 Tactics. Following up with an attempt at a clear. T-Park going to put this one over Corrupt, who's going to have to try and take this one off the backboard. T-Park going to be immediately up, but we're going to get a play here, getting the reset over one, but it's just going to be off the post, and Daki going to be able to put this one away safely. Shy trying to get that one over, but that's a massive shot. Corrupt able to get that save. T-Park going to put this one into the center. Shy and Corrupt both up for the save. And that one's going to be over Daki. And that one's just going to drop in. Corrupt scoring the second one for X3 Tactics.
Daki wasn't super involved with that play, but yet still super low on boost there, which is a bit unfortunate for them, because that's never a situation you want to be in, where you're last back but also zero boost. That's a difficult situation to adapt to, and I mean, when you're going up against Corrupt with no boost, that's extremely dangerous for any player in this league. So very well done by X3 to be able to isolate that situation and capitalize on it well. Shy doing a little musty there in the middle of the field, so getting a little fancy there, but Gala is going to take possession. Gala trying to get it mid. Corrupt is going to 50 that to corner, though. Daki trying to get it over. T-Park trying for a follow-up, unable to secure it, though. Gala is going to take a shot on net. Shy is going to need to cover for Brian there and is able to do so. That's going to allow X3 to get a clear to the opposing side of the field. T-Park trying to keep possession here, but that's two good 50s by Brian to get the pressure, but OwOptic is going to push through, trying to get the ball middle. Daki a little bit slow to that, unable to get to it. Gala getting a 50. They're getting some good pressure here. They're going to want to hold it, but that's a great clear by X3, and that's going to get the ball on that OwOptic half of the field once again. Daki clearing it to the side. They need to find an answer fast if they are going to claw their way back into this game, and X3 just seems to have such good control. What are we looking for here?
We just gotta look for that increased pressure, but X3 Tactics, Kurup putting a third one away. And with 17 seconds left, this series is all but over. As OwOptic Gaming fighting very, very well with their new squad, but X3 Tactics just proving why they are the #1 seed in the league so far. As we're gonna get this kickoff here. Shy getting a good 50 here. Daki almost putting it into his own net there. That's just very, very unfortunate overall. As we're gonna hit the last few seconds. X3 Tactics going to take this series and going to go up 4-0 in the series.
Yeah, they win it in 4, which is a big step forward for OwOptic. Or a good step forward for X3 in that series. They really were able to take control of a game against a pretty strong opponent there. So that's really good for them. That's going to be a good step forward where they now have not only beat teams that may have been struggling a little bit in the early season, but getting a good quality win like they did against Black Bunny mid-season. So, I mean, well played to them, and that's a strong series for X3.
Indeed it is, but OwOptic definitely shouldn't be sad about how they played. They were playing very, very well, especially in that game 2, just completely shutting out X3 Tactics. And I know that there is definitely a world where they could have taken that series in Game 5, possibly even Game 4, but X3 Tactics just able to adapt so very well to what was going on, and just very, very well played from them.
Absolutely. And I mean, we've seen in chat here, Shy potentially spilling on his keyboard before the game, which you never want to see out of a KBM player like Shy. But on that note, they'll bounce back next week, I'm sure. It's going to be time to move on to our final game of the week, which is going to be Dignipaws and Big Dragon Squad, which is going to be here for your guys' entertainment right after the break. We'll see you guys on the other side of it.
Well, hello everybody.
Hello.
Welcome on back to RFDL Week 4, Day number 2. I'm Ecliptic Phage, joined by Aerolax, Firestreak, and Docky. And Docky, you guys played pretty well against X3 Tactics, but unfortunately, the new edition not necessarily being too comfortable in the squad's rotations and such, and you guys fall in 4 games, but that was a good performance nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, it's, we pulled him in yesterday, and then I think the first reps we were able to get after we pulled him in as that sub coming in were this morning. And then immediately going in against a pretty tough team. We've definitely, we'll get some more reps in, we'll get some chemistry going, but I'm pretty happy with how the boys played. Obviously, Gala's a fantastic player, and I think showed that. So I'm pretty optimistic moving forward. It's tough being down that loss on the season, but going forward, I'm pretty happy with the squad.
Yeah, I figure it was a really good game. You guys looked solid, even just only playing for a couple of days. I'm very scared to see what you guys are going to be able to do with some actual practice under your guys' belts. But you guys, once again, looking like a top team. And X3 Tactics, what can I say about them? 4-0 on the season. They're looking dominant over every other team right now. It's very scary to see. We need somebody to humble them really quickly. Please, someone, do it. Do it already. But yeah, that's a great match. But we got one more match for everybody today, and it is going to be another spicy one. Big Dragon Squad versus Dignipaws to end off week 4 today. And both these teams wanting to get this win pretty desperately to get to a good place in the leaderboard.
I mean, I'm really excited for this next matchup. So, I mean, naturally, BDS, they have a lot to prove still. They've only had 1 win on the season, but that coming with Reverb on the squad. So, I mean, I believe they might be bringing him back this week, which will be good to see. So, we'll just need to wait and see.
Anybody else got anything to say about it?
Well, I mean, yeah, I think Fire said exactly what I was gonna say. I mean, yeah, we'll see if that does happen. But I mean, if it does, BDS played fantastic last week with that squad. So, yeah, they definitely turned things around, and they're more terrifying than they were, obviously at the beginning of the season. So this has the potential to be a very entertaining matchup.
Yeah, I completely agree, and Dignipaws in particular, having last week's MVP of Sylvie, which is going to be very interesting to see if they can keep up that MVP performance, or if the Big Dragon Squad can really just get down their playstyle, because I know for a fact that Big Dragon Squad really just has so much potential in that squad, and I just really can't wait to see them fully unleash it.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be a very good matchup. Let's go ahead and talk about some of these teams. Let's talk about BDS here first. Coming through, Big Dragon Squad going to be Rue the Fuzzy, Meezer, and you are correct, we are bringing back Reverb for a second match here. Would not be surprised if we see Reverb put on the team as a full-time after this week and the trade lock, or not the trade lock, but the roster lock goes out of effect. So expect to see a lot of Reverb. He showed up very well last week against Cloud9. I expect him to do the same thing today against Dignipaws.
I mean, let me tell you about my guy Reverb right here. Absolutely goated player. He is just fantastic in every aspect of the game, and then being supported by Meezer, who's first in the league through week 3 in goals per game. You can't ask for anything better. Absolutely fantastic roster, and I'm excited to see what they do this week.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see that as well, and as you mentioned, Fire, first in goals per game, also very high in assists per game as well as being quite up there in MVP and shots per game as I look at the master sheet right now. So definitely a very good player overall, and we're gonna have to see just how that addition of reverb is going to affect the team.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and what else can you say? I mean, Reverb's a fantastic player, and they seem to be thriving under that new offensive approach they're taking. So they played fantastic last week. I have no doubt in my mind that they'll be able to recreate that.
Yeah, and let's go ahead and talk about the opponents here. It is going to be Dignipaws, who had a really good start to their season, but they did take a loss, I believe, last week. They are going to be playing with Abyss once again this week as the free agent, and Kilo actually going to be, I believe, not participating coming next week. I believe they might be finding a new member. Not entirely sure on who that is just yet. But Abyss, they didn't necessarily have the best start to RFDL for themselves, I believe, but I think they're coming back looking for a win against this BDS squad.
I mean, yeah, you have Sylvie and Kiki, which are always a solid duo, and Abyss with a chip on their shoulder coming back into this matchup. I believe Sylvie is top 3 in one category and top 5 in another, so I'm going to be looking for Sylvie to be able to step up as a leader of the team and really be able to help both those other players settle into this match. So we need to see how it works, but I'm optimistic about this squad.
Yeah, and I mean, Sylvie's a really good counter, I think, to Reverb in terms of just speed and quickness to the ball. So we'll see. I think that'll cause some interesting plays in the midfield, especially given that both players like to go for those solo plays. So I'm expecting to see a lot of that back and forth. But yeah, having that roster, I think even with the sub, I think they'll be pretty solid.
And I
don't really have anything else to add there.
One thing I will add is that Reverb is also a West player, so adding them to the roster with Meezer means that all of their series will be fully on US East, which actually kind of works out pretty well for the squad, no having to switch servers and all of that. I think that's going to be really good for them. Fire, if you could let me know, what are the predictions going into this matchup?
Definitely an interesting set of predictions coming out from our caster crew for this matchup. I selected BDS in 5. You were selecting a sweep by BDS, which is we never want sweeps. Come on now. But Arilex chose BDS in 5 as well, and Docky chose a 3-0 sweep in favor of Dignipaws. So Docky, definitely the Dignipaws glazer, as always, but we'll need to see how it works out.
Yeah, so that's looking really good, and we are going to be starting this lobby up soon. I want to know one more thing from Arilex. You will not be casting this game, so while you're watching on the back line, who are you going to be watching to pop off in this series for each team?
That is a very, very good question. I mean, obviously, first thought is Reverb, because I don't think I've ever even seen them play, so I'm not entirely familiar with how they play. And that'll be very interesting, kind of seeing how they mesh with the other 2 players on Big Dragon Squad. Whereas on the other side of Dignipaws, as I mentioned, Sylvie being the MVP of last week, and meshing with Kiki very, very well on the offensive side, that's definitely a force to be reckoned with. But I think I'm going to have to go with the obvious answer and I'm going to be looking at Reverb.
I'm going to have to say the exact same, and we'll let our casters talk more about these teams as we get into the match, because guys, it is time. Everybody is going to be ready for this one, and I am ready to see where this match leads. So without further ado, it's time for the final game of week 4. It's going to be BDS versus Dignipaws, going here in a best of 5 to see who is going to move up the leaderboard. And Docky and Fire, have fun with the match.
We will fade absolutely as we see the clash of titans between Reverb and Sylvie. Who's going to come up on top? Reverb getting a good kickoff to start off the match. Sylvie getting a dunk. Kiki a little bit slow to that, unable to get the shot on target. So Reverb is going to get the chance to clear it out, playing on the backfire, which is always a terrifying sight to see, as Sylvie is going to flip possession, get it back onto the Big Dragon Squad side of the field. A bit of ping pong going on early on in this match, no one able to get clear possession to take an early lead in this game.
Yeah, I mean, it is definitely a little bit of maybe trying to settle into your rotations. You've seen a lot of that as players try to adjust to not only the teammates that they have, especially Dignipaws will have to have a sub in, but their opponents. So you kind of always see some of these almost kind of sizing each other up as they kind of wait for opportunities to present themselves. But Dignipaws definitely seems to have maybe more of the offensive prowess here early on in this series. Not too strong, but again, as I say that, of course, Kiki will score. That's a fantastic pass from, I believe, Sylvie. Does get back to this. Yes, it is Sylvie. Maybe Reverb a little bit of a miss. Maybe expects a shot on net top left. Sylvie takes it full advantage of that free ball and the free pass, and Kiki will score that. So Dignipaws looking to be a little bit stronger here. Their offense seems to be completely clicking as they take a 1-0 lead with 4 minutes left on the clock. Well, BDS definitely not a team to scoff at, as they definitely will have multiple opportunities to equalize the score.
Yeah, BDS, they seem to have really figured out their offense with Reverb on the roster, but Sylvie's going to put another one in, which is going to give Dignipaws a 2-goal lead early on, and it seems like those defensive rotations might still be a little bit awkward for them, and they're going to want to figure those out quickly if they're going to stay in this match. Meezer on the kickoff. Reverb is going to follow this up. It looks like he's going to be going for a double tap. Is he able to get it? Yes, but not on target. Sylvie's going to try to clear this out. Reverb going for the challenge. That's a mutual demo, so both those players are out of the game momentarily. Kiki playing it off a corner wall, and the follow-up is a bit high from Abyss. Reverb getting a challenge, and I mean, we're seeing Rue the Fuzzy clear into the corner. Reverb going for a shot, unable to get it on, and we are seeing a bit of pressure from this BDS squad, which is good to see considering they are down by 2 early on in this match. And I mean, they do seem to be holding a bit more possession than Dignipaws in this second minute of the game, and potentially we might see a little bit of a comeback as we progress forward with this game.
Yeah, I mean, one of the interesting things that you always love about these draft leagues is that one of the techniques that you have in these leagues, when you don't necessarily have in any other thing that you'll ever play regarding Rocket League, is kind of being able to force these mismatches. And Dignipaws has done a pretty decent job of, I think, getting Rue the Fuzzy a little bit more awkward playing up against Sylvie and playing against some of these high-ranked players. But as I say that, BDS does the exact same thing that I was talking about, but the other way is Reverb has kind of a 1v1 against Abyss here, so I'm not quite expecting, I think, this ball to come out that quickly and for the follow-through. So this is a fantastic play, taking advantage of that mismatch that I was just talking about, and BDS will take the lead down to just a 1. Dignipaws still on top, but that lead is now cut in half. BDS looking a little bit stronger, maybe starting to be a little bit more confident. If they can get one more, they have a lot of time to do it. So definitely have a match on our hands here.
Yeah, I think we did have a little party connection error there, so sorry for the NA production, but this match is going to continue on as we have Meezer trying to control the ball to the other side of the field, is able to do so. Abyss there for the save. Very nice positioning from Abyss there. We're seeing Reverb trying to get a touch on that, unable to do so though, and Meezer is going to need to stall this. Reverb going for the solo play against Sylvie. Sylvie is going to get the save. Missed follow-up on behalf of Meezer there. Sylvie, no boost to be able to try to get a solo play. Meezer doesn't know that though and gets a bit awkward. Reverb, clearing this to the side, is going to try to get a 50, but Abyss is able to get a favorable 50. Rue the Fuzzy, a bit awkward. Meezer is going to need to clear that to the side. Reverb, trying to take possession, unable to do so though. Sylvie, opting to back off of that ball to let his teammates get an opportunity. No follow-up though. Sylvie has possession. Meezer with a good challenge. Abyss is going to clear that to the side though. Reverb is going to clear that in a very much back and forth game so far, which is always good to see. Potentially we might get an overtime in this one.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a miscommunication there from Dignipaws. It looked like Sylvie might have had a scoring opportunity, but I'm not sure if it was an attempt at a slow play or a passing play. Kind of kills all of the momentum they had on offense, and now they're kind of having to scramble back here in the midfield, although they're doing a really good job of it. Although, as I say that, this is a little bit awkward. It's 2 go up for Dignipaws, but again, with 50 seconds left and the goal lead, they're not really needing to play for a goal. I'm sure they'd love a cushion, but I'm sure they're happy as well to just sit on top of this 1 goal lead, keep the ball out of their net, force the offensive shots that they're getting to have to be very, very good. And they're doing, again, Dignipaws doing a very good job of just controlling the ball. They don't need a goal, and you can almost tell that they're playing like that as they force this ball a little bit more forward.
Yeah, Dignipaws seems to be trying to run out the clock in this match, but Abyss is still going to want a shot right there, which they're not able to get. This is going to be a 50. Sylvie wins that 50. And it looks like they might have a momentary open net, a little bit slow on that, though. Meezer loses possession. That's going to give Sylvie the opportunity to control it all the way to their back wall and try to ground this with a very long air dribble, which is going to get past the BDS roster. Great job grounding that by Sylvie, and a great performance by Dignipaws.
Yeah, you could tell when they had that lead there, they didn't really need to extend it. I mean, I'm sure, like I said, they would love to have a cushion there, but they kind of felt like they didn't need to, as they were able to control most of the pace. Not too much in terms of awkwardness. The rotations are sound, so they're definitely doing a good job of taking advantage of some of the rank mismatches that they're dealing with on the side of BDS. So we'll have to see if BDS can bounce back, maybe start to do the same, as we do have a relatively equal in terms of having the GC3. Of course, BDS does have that GC2 in there instead of the GC1 like Dignipaws has, but we'll see if they're able to take advantage of some of those mismatches they're having there, as they've been doing a little bit. We saw a little bit there as we see the goal coming from Reverb, but not too much. They're definitely not as quick on some of those offensive opportunities as they should be, and I'm sure that they know that they can be. So we'll see if they're able to bounce back into game 2.
Very much a tight game so far. This one could swing either way, and I'm going to be looking a little bit at Brew the Fuzzy this game coming up, because he seemed to be just kind of caught out a little bit awkward, a little bit more than we're used to seeing him be. So hopefully Reverb and Kiki are able to help him settle in and really find his spot in this matchup. As we head into game 2, we are going to have Sylvie on the kickoff for Dignipaws, which is going to go neutral. Meezer able to get a secondary 50, but the clear is going to come out from Dignipaws. Abyss trying to get the redirect, unable to put that one on target. Reverb going for a big clear, does not get it as far as he might have wanted to. Abyss a little bit slow there, but kind of gets faked by 2 members of the BDS team. We're seeing a little bit of Sylvie trying to get a bit of a solo play there, unable to control and finish it though. Pinch coming out from Dignipaws, and BDS seems to be on defense a lot to start off this game too.
Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of maybe confidence coming out of Dignipaws here. They're not really waiting too much. They're definitely pushing into the offensive third, and we're seeing maybe a little bit of an overcommit, but it's not coming back to bite them, so I don't think they feel like they need to change that up. But we'll see if it does. DS may be noticing that they're having a lot of the players come across the midfield. But again, it's just the Dignipaws playing incredibly confident, and you can almost feel that they don't fret, I think, the counterattack. They're not really respecting the ability from BDS to turn this around, as we're seeing them just constantly turning on the ball constantly, and they're not really prepping for a possible counterattack. So if you're going up against that in terms of BDS, it's kind of terrifying seeing your opponents that confident that they can beat you in the midfield. 0-0 though, so no one has scored. But it does feel like maybe Dignipaws is on the verge of scoring here at any given moment. We'll see if BDS is able to turn this around, maybe start taking some more offensive approaches on their own end.
And that's a great 50 by Reverb there, just to buy his team time, let them recuperate that boost. That way they can get back to this match and be able to be a bit more effective as the 2 low-ranked players on that team. But Dignipaws is going to continue on the offensive onslaught. Big Dragon Squad holding on to it so well, though, showing no cracks in that defense. We see Kiki going for a possession play, is going to get 50 by Meezer, though, which is going to leave Rue the Fuzzy to go for another 50. They are able to switch possession of the field, and Meezer tries for the redirect. That is just off, though. Unable to put that on target. Little slow play by Kiki. Rue the Fuzzy is going to get a nice save. He is getting a little bit of a reputation for being a bit consistent on that defensive half for BDS. Mazer is going to need to challenge this, is unable to get an effective one, though. Abyss, I believe, no, that's another on Dignipaws. Is going to go for the shot, unable to put it on target, though. Abyss is going to control it, tries to get it around the opponent, unable to do so, though. And Rue the Fuzzy is going to get a clear back into the Dignipaws. Oh.
I believe we lost you there for a second there at the end of your sentence. But again, it's 0-0, 2 minutes left. A lot of offense coming off of the side of Dignipaws, as we're seeing not too much connection, but you do feel, like I had said earlier, you feel like a goal is just on the verge of happening. At any point, a crack in BDS's defense will happen. While I say that Dignipaws has done a really good job of having this controlled, consistent offensive pressure, BDS has done a really good job of making sure that none of it goes anywhere near their net, as they're covering everything so well. There's a lot of turning here, a lot of rotations that are happening offensively. So it's a great dunk from Meezer comes through, but it's not able to connect on some of these things. And you have to think that with this much defense that BDS is having, they almost might be able to get some of these counterattacks going. There's an awkward bounce goes, but he's a little bit too far away to make a shot on it. Maybe this is the opportunity for BDS now. Maybe they have the opportunity to take the goal lead that they need. Definitely don't want to be going down to triple match point in this last series of the day.
Yeah, triple match point is not where any team is going to want to see themselves when they're going up against an opponent like Dignipaws, who is very strong in their own right. Sylvie is, we're about to see, going for a mechanical play, going for the reset. Meezer is going to be there, though. Abyss getting 50 by reverb. 50 by reverb on. Kiki is going to go for a shot. Reverb is back, though. And Reverb is going to try for another touch. Not sure if he got one there. The net looks a bit open. Meezer is going to swoop in for a save. And it seems like a goal is on the brink of happening as more and more shots are ringing out towards the end of this game. And both teams are getting a little bit desperate to try to put one in the back.
Yeah, and I mean, again, a lot of offense from Dignipaws. I feel like I'm a broken record here, as the game has gone basically the entire same way for all 5 minutes here. A lot of pressure from Dignipaws, a lot of great defense from BDS, and 0 goals have been scored. So as we wind the clock down, we might, and I believe we are going to have an overtime unless Kiki does decide to keep it up. Not much boost here on the side of Dignipaws. This will cause it to hit the ground. And we go to overtime, 0-0, a lot of zeros on the screen here. And at this point, is any one game. Maybe BDS takes this opportunity to reset their offensive approach here. Maybe start going for some more offensive, although it's a huge misplay from Reverb and it leaves their net wide open. And 11 seconds into overtime, we see our first goal of the game, and Dignipaws goes up 2-0 on the series.
Yeah, that's just a big misplay from Reverb early on in overtime, and I would like to see them kind of just keep what they were doing in regulation going into overtime. Maybe extend the overtime and just outlast Dignipaws in that game. But unfortunately for them, it's a little bit of a misplay, and all it takes is one in those very close matchups.
Yeah, and it felt like it was bound to happen. I mean, BDS was on defense for what felt like the entirety of that game, and just a single mistake. And with how offensively pressured, or how much pressure they had on offense for Dignipaws, you felt like any mistake that they made that they were going to score on it, and that's exactly what happened. 11 seconds at overtime, not exactly great. I'm sure they have to regain themselves mentally after that loss. I mean, going down 2 on triple match point here, especially after a quick loss in overtime after having basically saved what felt like 30 shots on net for that entire game. I'm sure that's got to be weighing on them, but they just need to recollect, bring themselves back into this. They've been playing well all series long. They're definitely not out of it. And if they want to have a chance in the series, they'll have to ground themselves, maybe take some more offense going forward.
Yes, they will absolutely be looking to do that, but there's only so much we can speculate. We're only going to be able to see how it plays out as we go into Game 3. BDS is going to be looking for a win here, otherwise their series is over. So, triple match point for them. They're a strong team, they have the capability to do it, but they're definitely on the back foot as we head into Game 3. Meezer is going to get a win on the kickoff. I think they were able to get boost too, which is going to give them early pressure. Sylvie is going to clear that away though. Rue the Fuzzy to get a 50 there, unable to do so. Reaver bit awkward, and once again just a little bit of awkwardness on behalf of Reverb, leading to a goal for Dignipaws.
Yeah, that's a great demo. I think Sylvie noticed that Reaver was a little bit out of position, probably too close to that, lost his momentum and had to try to regain himself, and goes to demo the last man in net, and that leads to a goal. And you have to think, with how much pressure Dignipaws has been putting on this entire series, that might put them in a really good position. And of course, as I say that, they score another one. The Abyss gets a nice shot on net, which maybe a little bit of a pop-up here. Oh, it's an unfortunate dive there from Meezer. Puts Rue the Fuzzy in a little bit of an awkward position there. Reverb tries to get back in time, but just not quick enough. And 4:39, after an entire game with basically no scoring in it, we have 2 goals scored in the first 20 seconds.
I mean, in the last 30 seconds of play between last game and this game, Big Dragon Squad has let up 3 goals after not letting up so many shots. Just having such good defense throughout that game too. We'd like to see them kind of regain, stay calm, and just be able to reestablish those rotations on the defensive as Dignipaws responds with even more pressure, as Kiki is going to take this to their own back wall, try to get some control once again for Dignipaws. But Dignipaws is going to be able to switch the field and get yet more pressure, which seems to be a common theme throughout these last 2 games. Sylvie able to clear to their own corner, but I'm seeing just huge clear there. And I mean, Dignipaws just doesn't seem to be relenting any pressure as we move forward with this series.
Yeah, it almost feels like they just do not respect their opponents on the counterattack. They're just turning on everything, going for any touch they can get, and it's working entirely in their favor. That confidence is really nice, and yeah, for BDS here, you have to break that confidence. You have to make them respect you. Start going for some of these passing plays, make the shots a little bit more consistent. Again, some of these missed touches are coming back to bite them. They do have an opportunity. 3 minutes is a lot of time, so they're definitely not out of this yet. They'll have to get some of these more controlled offensive possessions. Don't get dunked. This Sylvie gets a fantastic touch forward. Might put it into BDS's offensive possession here. He needs to get the save. Sylvie a little bit too early up for that awkward. Abyss will miss because of that. There's still an opportunity for BDS. Low boost all around. I guess not all around, but for Rue the Fuzzy specifically. Might make this awkward, but no, it does not. Reverb is there for the shot, and with 2:51, they're able to cut the lead in half. And this is what you want to see for BDS here. This ability to put the pressure on, make Dignipaws awkward, and make them respect you on the offense. This is how you come back in this game. This is how they come back in the series, and they're doing a good job of it to start.
I mean, very good team play. Every single one of the BDS team members there had an impact on that goal, whether it be going for a bump, getting a pass, or finishing that. All 3 players just getting involved and putting one home for their team to keep themselves this. Meezer, we're seeing Meezer go for a lot of mechanical plays, and that's just going to leave an open net for Reverb. What happened to the Dignipaws defense there? Just a good dunk, and I mean, both of the other players on Dignipaws just being completely caught forward. And I mean, Big Dragon Squad has the players to be able to put that one home every day of the week. And I mean, 2-2 with halfway through this game.
I mean, this is what you want to see. Like I said earlier, like Dignipaws is just not quite respecting, I think, some of those counterattack opportunities, some of those offensive possessions that BDS has had, maybe because they haven't been converting on them, so they feel a lot more confident in overcommitting, pushing forward, waiting for clearouts to happen. And I mean, if you're BDS there, you need to take advantage of that when that happens, and they've done exactly that. They have equalized off of maybe a defensive bluster there that they saw on the side of Dignipaws. See if they're able to take this momentum forward. They were down 2. They've been able to score 2 straight unanswered goals, so they definitely have momentum on their side as it stands currently. Maybe we're starting to see Dignipaws respect some of those more, so maybe they can change up their gameplay a little bit as we see an opportunity come through. And they do exactly that. We see a little bit of a delay, maybe a fake there coming out of the midfield. Goes around 1. Fantastic pass off of the backboard. Meezer, I think, maybe expecting a shot on net, and Sylvie will be there to clean that up. And that is a little bit more controlled passing plays on Dignipaws, as they are having to play a little bit more around BDS now, as BDS is playing a lot tighter on their defensive rotations, looking for those offensive outlets. So we'll see if BDS is able to recover from that. But Dignipaws is doing a good job of responding. They're back up 1 with 1:35 left in this game.
Dignipaws definitely looking like the stronger team so far in this series, and they just seem to be firing on all cylinders, which is exactly what you want to see if you are a Dignipaws fan. They're looking confident, they're looking good, but as soon as I say something, the caster curse strikes once again, and Reverb says, hey, you were glazing me before this series. Don't you stop that, because that's a fantastic speedy air dribble there, and that's just going to put the series all tied once again with only 120 left in this.
Yeah, taking advantage of the overcommit again. I think that, again, Dignipaws looking for maybe an offensive outlet. They were tied there, or they were up 1, so I'm not sure. Maybe they're a little bit more confident in themselves, but they are punished again for it. That is the second time this match alone that they've been punished for a little bit of an overcommit. I think their confidence is good, but they might be a little bit too confident now. And BDS should and is taking advantage of that. They're able to equalize again. And hopefully they will, or at least for them, they're hoping to take a lead here. As they'd love to get a match here, at least one, to make sure that they're not swept here. But they've done, so far, a fantastic job of making sure they're taking advantage of some of the overconfidence from Dignipaws. As you already are seeing Dignipaws starting to respect them. No one's there for that shot. You would have thought earlier in this game someone would have dived on that to try to take a shot on net, but you're seeing Dignipaws play a little bit more safer as they've been burnt on a lot of those dives. And we'll start to see how that changes this game going forward. With 20 seconds left, we might see another overtime.
I mean, another overtime is exactly what we would love to see, because those games always, one that both teams can walk away from. Like, okay, that was a close game, regardless of the outcome. As we go into 10 seconds left in this game, Dignipaws is going to have one last offensive opportunity to close this in regulation, and Sylvie's going to have an opportunity on net, is opting for a double, but that's not going to go Sylvie's way, as Meezer keeps it up. Reverb going for the shot, unable to put it on though, as the ball is still alive. We're Reverb trying to pinch that down, and that one falls for overtime. That was very scary for Dignipaws right towards the end of that regulation.
Yeah, close one. I'm not sure keeping the ball up there was the smart idea from Dignipaws. I think they might have tried to go for the 0-second play, but it almost came back to bite them. But luckily for them, they were able to survive that last-second attempt at a goal. Fortunately, though, for them, they have not. Maybe they're playing a little bit more safer now. Of course, as I say that, though, we're seeing a lot of awkwardness come out of the side of BDS as they all are low on boost there momentarily. Not able to do too much with it. We'll see if Dignipaws is able to maybe regain, maybe get some of that confidence back. You'd hate to see them lose a match and then immediately start to get a little bit more hesitant, as they've been playing so well when they're playing confident. They have to make sure not to overcommit. They want to try to have a chance at winning this game. That's a fantastic pinch when Reaver comes through, and we'll be all over it. So my guess is I'm going to start to see a little bit more hesitation, maybe a little bit more back to what we saw in the beginning of game 1, trying to feel each other out. So a lot of confidence coming out of Dignipaws to start, but they've since then, I think, slowed down a little bit now that BDS is starting to become hot on their tail.
Sylvie going for a mechanical play, unable to convert on it, unable to get that reset. Reverb is going to need to make do some defensive shenanigans there to keep his team in this. And I mean, I'm going to be looking at Reverb. He's got to step up and make a big play here to keep his team in this series. They are down 2, and this is match point for them. Reverb going for the shot, and he's going to score! What a goal by Reverb as soon as I say it. Speaking it into existence. What a goal by Reverb. Beautiful beat. Beautiful keeping his momentum up, and beautiful finish, finding the angle to put that.
Well, it's the third time it happened this series. A little bit of an overcommit. I think that maybe Abyss thought that Sylvie had that double read off the sidewall. It was not there for them, and they do get punished for it. So maybe that overcommit, maybe that heavy offense is starting to bite them as BDS is starting to adapt to them. 3 goals off of what essentially was massive overcommits on the offense from Dignipaws. Starting to see if maybe we'll see a little bit more hesitation, maybe a little bit more respect for the counterattack opportunities that BDS has here going into game number 4. But for now, BDS able to save themselves from the clean sweep.
I mean, anytime you're able to just hang in these matches and stay so confident and able to just keep your mental up even through going down 2 very early on, that's a huge benefit for BDS. I mean, after those first 2 goals, BDS is looking strong. So hopefully they're able to keep up that momentum and keep us maybe going into a game 5. But first, they got to take care of the game 4, which, I mean, what do you think is the biggest thing that they'll need to deliver on in this game 4 in order to force the full game 5 series?
I mean, if you're BDS here, I think they're doing a good job. I'm going to say the same thing I said to Dignipaws in the first couple of games. Just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, you're forcing Dignipaws, I think, to change their gameplay and make them change the things that they're doing. Dignipaws is doing such a good job when they were just racking up the pressure, shot after shot after shot. BDS early on was not able to, I think, counter that very well. But since then, they've made a great adjustment, started taking advantage of some of these overcommits, starting to get open nets off of those counterattacks. So if you're BDS, just keep doing that.
No. Oh, that's a really unfortunate own goal coming out from Rue the Fuzzy there to start off this series. And I mean, maybe Big Dragon Squad likes to just start off a little bit behind, really kind of give their opponents a little bit of overconfidence. That way they can just come back storming, which, I mean, it's only one play early on. They're fine. They just got to keep their heads level and be able to stay involved, stay confident throughout this game. As we see some early pressure from BDS. And Meezer trying to put one home. Abyss was low on boost. He was able to get around Sylvie. That was a dangerous opportunity there. Sylvie going for a plan B. Maybe Sylvie, we're seeing a little bit of freestyler Sylvie come out as soon as they're ahead. I mean, we saw last week that almost bit them, but maybe we'll see a little bit more of a overconfidence from Dignipaws as they almost own goal right there. And I mean, these were in the opponent's net or in their own net? I'm not quite sure. So
I'm not gonna lie, I completely forgot what team was on which side there for a second, as we did have the own goal coming. It was quite unfortunate when that did happen. I mean, you're definitely trying to get the ball moved forward, and those misflips just come back to haunt you sometimes. I know that I've had that happen to me before last season, so it's definitely possible. But again, oh, that is such a good passing play. Dignipaws taking full advantage of the one goal that they were able to have. Keep this pressure up. They're doing back to what they were doing before, just making sure that after every single awkward pop-up, there's always someone there to dive on the ball, take a shot, make BDS fight for a save. And with 3:34, I mean, the last game we saw them go down 2, so this is definitely not end of everything for this BDS team. As Reaver will make sure that that is true. As a really nice double comes out here off of the kickoff. Maybe a missed touch from Yakiki, I think, read that just a little bit off, and Reaver will take full advantage of that low boost, but it doesn't matter. So he gets a nice touch, has the momentum to keep forward for that double. And with 3:29 now, it is a 1-goal game. So basically knock off that own goal. We're back to square one again. We already have a nice match on our sides here. The nice shot comes up from Abyss, but can be covered. Kiki goes a little bit too high, I think, for anyone to follow that one. BDS here kind of maybe looking to go for those counterattacks. We're seeing them being a little bit patient, which I think is working in their benefit, or at least it has the last game. We'll see if they're able to keep that going moving forward here.
I mean, BDS just seems to just be able to keep a really level head even if they go down early, which is such an essential part of having a strong... And I mean, Reverb, anytime it seems like they are down, anytime it seems like the momentum is shifted into Dignipaws' favor, Reverb seems to have an answer as he tries to control it off his own back wall, unable to keep control. Sylvie is going to get it over Rue the Fuzzy. No follow-up quickly. That's going to let BDS try to get reorganized on defense, but Sylvie unable to get the goal. Unfortunate for Sylvie there, as they had all the pressure, and now it's just the field is flipped. See pressure coming out from BDS, a little bit of a double commit. It's not going to bite them though, as Reverb whiffs that. Rue the Fuzzy going to try to clear this down, unable to get it over Kiki. Meezer stalling. Reverb getting back on defense as Sylvie takes possession. Meezer is going to get a good 50, and Reverb is going to try to get a little bit of a touch pass, unable to convert it though. Reverb switching field. Meezer is going to be looking for a follow-up as Reverb goes up for it, unable to convert, and I think we're seeing BDS try for some passing plays, but just not quite able to flip possession onto the Dignipaws side of the ball. They would.
Yeah, this game has gotten a little bit sloppy as we've seen some awkward touches coming through both teams. A little bit too close for Reverb. No follow through. Ball will get cleared again. And if you're BDS here, you definitely want to take advantage of some of the sloppier play that we've seen from Dignipaws, but you don't want to also have your own sloppy plays. This game has gotten a little bit out of control here. Again, there's a lot of time left, so we'll see if they're able to control this. There's maybe a double commit. Kiki might have bumped Sylvie off of the ball. But Abyss able to be the stalwart defender there, making sure that doesn't go anywhere near them, but Reaver tries to make sure that that does. And low boost, as Misa's able to steal the corner boost, but that will put an end, I think, to that offensive possession they have there. And again, just a little bit maybe a sloppy trying to get that goal. You can definitely tell that they want that goal to happen, but they need to make sure that it's a little bit more controlled. They definitely don't want to go down 2 with this much time left in the game here. There's a big risk from Reaver comes, and that might put a lot more pressure on their defense than you'd like to see here. You definitely want, if you're BDS here, to be the ones on offense. Reaver does get a nice save, but he's got no boost to follow it. And they are not going to be able to get out of their own half here on 0 boost. Right now, Misa's really the only one with boost now. There's no one back in net. Has to use all of his boost to get to this ball here. Reverb's got nothing. And they do have an opportunity, but they will need to move the ball forward now if they want to try to equalize this game.
Yeah, we've seen for the past like 30 seconds or so, Big Dragon Squad just can't seem to hold on to enough boost to flip field. And they're going to need to do that now if they want to stay into this game. Reverb trying to get it over. That's a good opportunity for Meezer. Meezer trying to put it on net, unable to do so. Rue the Fuzzy's going to need to keep it alive. Good shot. Rue the Fuzzy! What? A goal! That's going to send it to overtime. 0 seconds left. What a goal! What a shot!
I don't know how that went in, but oh my goodness. I mean, a great play from Miza to make sure that that popped out awkwardly, and that is just a shot on net. A little bit awkward for Abyss to make the play on the ball here, and they equalize with 0 seconds on the clock. I cannot believe my eyes here. I thought for sure with how much they were on defense that they were going to be awkward. As a nice touch, Reaver comes forward. The ball is so awkward. Oh, and Meezer saves it out! Unfortunately, they're not able to convert on this, but they still do have all of the possession. Oh, it was a nice 50 from Kiki comes here, and if you're Dignipaws here, you've got to not let that 0 second goal get to you here. You do not want to be awkward, you do not want to be panicking, as that is always a rough, and you don't want to have this game be stolen from you. They had the win, but BDS on a resurgency here, playing almost like they feel like they deserve this win. The confidence from BDS is so much stronger, almost a little bit too strong as a double commit comes through. But they are playing fantastic. They were on defense for what felt like so long, but they have so much pressure here as Reaver goes for a double here, maybe a pass, as Rue will have a shot on net. Maybe a little bit too much of an overcommit here, as the counterattack potential here is a little bit strong, although Kiki does have no boost. We'll see if they're able to maybe salvage this win. I'm sure if you're a BDS fan, you'd love to see them take this one. You'd love to see the story, the 0 second goal, take this to a game 5.
I mean, we're seeing a lot of pressure out of BDS so far in this overtime. That's exactly the position you want to see them in if you are a BDS fan. I've seen a little bit of scrambling happening from the Dignipaws side on that defensive half, and if they're not able to fix that or score right here, it's going to be tough for them to stay in this. We see Meezer trying to clear it off of their own back wall, able to get the clear. Rue the Fuzzy is going to need to get up and make a challenge, but is unable to get an effective challenge against Sylvie. Reverb going up sidewall, gets it forward. Abyss is going to need to clear that out to get flipped, and unfortunately, Reverb is going to have the ball. And Reverb, perfect pass down. Meezer finishes. We have a Game 5 series on our hands, Docky.
Oh, stolen. The game was stolen from the clutches of Dignipaws. 0 seconds left, and Rue takes a 0 second equalizer, and with 2 minutes left, a fantastic pass from Reverb brings us to a game 5. This is incredible Rocket League that we're witnessing here.
I mean, Big Dragon, the mental fortitude after going down 2 to just stay in this series, stay focused. They know what they have to do, and time again these last 2 games, they are making the plays they need to make when they need to make them, just to keep holding on to hope for this series. They've had their backs against the wall so much, but they just are so good at keeping themselves in the game, and I mean, that was just insane game.
I just want to point out, yeah, that I mean, it's a fantastic 0-second goal, but BDS has done such a good job of countering. I mean, and then also coming back from that own goal as well, to come back, not only score the own goal, maybe in the mental, but to score come back from that and score the 0-second goal, to give them overtime, to give them the win. I mean, that's just good mental there. But again, we're seeing BDS do exactly what they needed to do. They're countering this offense the Dignipaws is taking on. Dignipaws' offense can be almost suffocating, and if you're able to come out of that, take advantage of some of those counterattacks you have, as BDS has been doing, that is how you come back from these series, and they've done such a good job of that. So going into Game 5, we are all square now. It's basically, basically best of one as we get into golden game territory. We'll see if maybe it'll be closer, but these games have been so close. I have no idea who has the advantage here going into Game 5.
I mean, it seems like Big Dragon Squad has the momentum going into this Game 5, and if they're able to start strong and not find themselves in the hole, I think that's a really difficult situation for Dignipaws to find themselves in. But there's only so much that can be said. We just want to see the game start up again, because this is such a good series.
Yeah, I mean, it's been back and forth. I mean, we saw them go down 2 multiple times and not let that get to them. We saw the own goal happen, and obviously that didn't affect them. So yeah, this Dignipaws team obviously needs to come back from having the series advantage and then losing that, and now being at a Game 5. So we'll see if they can not let that get to them. We'll see if they're able to overcome the momentum that BDS was going to have going into this last game here.
I mean, if you are a Dignipaws fan, you really want to see Sylvie keep his team calm, keep them in the right mindset as we are trying to get this Game 5 underway. But yeah, dude, it's up to Sylvie here. He's got to be able to keep his team focused on the right areas of the game rather than getting super scrambly on that defensive end like we saw in that overtime. It almost seemed inevitable for BDS to score there because there was quite a bit of awkwardness on the defensive half on the side of Dignipaws. So, I mean, hopefully they're able to clean that up, and if they are, this is sure to be a thrilling.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, like I said, we got a chance here now, a little bit of a break here. Kind of breathe, calm yourselves down, get back into kind of your normal play here. As if you're BDS here, just keep doing what you've been doing. And if you're Dignipaws, try to go back to what you were doing. It's such a good job of it those first few games. So we'll have to see if they're able to kind of recollect, maybe get some of that offensive going, as we're seeing an opportunity, but it is slightly off. We're seeing the counterattacks happening already here from BDS. They definitely know that is the way to win this series. Try to rapidly move the ball downfield, catch them off guard, catch them on low boost. If you're BDS here, you do not want to be allowing another onslaught of offense from Dignipaws.
Definitely not, and we're already seeing Big Dragon Squad try these passing plays. They look confident, they're looking good. They just got to keep up the momentum that they have built this series that seemed to nearly be lost on so many different occasions. Reverb is going to clear the ball out. Meezer going for the redirect, unable to finish it though. That's just a bit off target. Reverb is stuck in a 1v3, is able to find the weak point and clear it out though. Abyss to take a shot on net. That's a bit off though. Kiki is going to try to stall, unable to get the touch they want. And now Reverb is going to need to clear this to the side. Sylvie trying to put it on net. Unable to do so. The pass coming middle. And I mean, there's just so much pressure on both sides. Both of these teams do not want to go down.
Yeah, and I mean, if we're looking at it from just this is game 1, best of 1. This is looking to be already so close. I mean, both teams have had such a good amount of pressure. No one is seemingly having the advantage here. His defense on both sides has been really good, but as I say that, an awkward bounce goes out, but again, it is cleared. The Abyss gets a really nice touch and the outlet pass. Sylvie does steal the boost. This might put Dignipaws at the advantage here. There may be a missed touch from Kiki, might put it into that offensive touch. We'll see if Meezer, not a lot of boost to play with. We'll have to try to get a soft touch. Sylvie's going to be up for this fast. Maybe a missed touch. I think maybe playing for that 50. Reaver will have to play this really carefully. He doesn't want to go down 1 here. This doesn't have any boost here. So we have to see full boost on the side of BDS, and they might be able to take advantage of this. A nice flip reset, but Sylvie is so patient on that. Make sure that doesn't dive on it, doesn't need to dive on that. Let them take harder shots than that. And I don't even know what happened there, as it looks like all of Dignipaws was in the net. The Meezer's able to find the smallest little angle. Top right over all three, and with 248, the momentum seemingly all on BDS's side as they take a 1-goal lead.
Dignipaws just kind of awkward on defense. It looked like they were all kind of just looking at each other, trying to guess who's gonna go, and that just causes them to be a bit late to that challenge, and BDS up by 1 now. Meezer that's a very good finish, just to be there in the nick of time to be able to finish that off, and just another miscue by Dignipaws. They just don't look quite as clean as they did early in this series. As Meezer is going to drop that middle. Reverb trying to get a shot on net. That's a good clear though. We have Sylvie just not able to get it past Rue the Fuzzy there, and if you're that 3 on that Dignipaws side, you want to be able to beat the lower ranked opponent in that situation. Meezer is going to need to turn on this, is going to get over Meezer, but Rue the Fuzzy is there. Reverb getting a 50 with Sylvie, that's going to go to the side. Good 50 for BDS, and it's just so well played by BDS right now. Dignipaws needs to find an answer fast if they want to stay in this.
And again, you can almost see that they definitely want to, they're pushing their 2, I think, higher ranked players forward, trying to make something happen, but they're leaving Abyss back on defense by himself or by themselves, and it's making things a little bit awkward as they're not able to get those counterattacks happening as quickly as possible. I mean, I know from playing against Reverb a bunch that when you have Reverb rushing you as last man, it can be always terrifying trying to figure out exactly what he's planning on doing. We do again, maybe a little bit of a double commit. Allows Reverb to take the ball. No boost though. Not sure that Dignipaws knows that, as he does pre-jump the shot opportunity. We're seeing Dignipaws maybe starting to have a little bit more connection on some of these passing plays. It's a great fake from Sylvie, comes out, makes it awkward for the defensive side of BDS. Great pass, but a great clear from Reverb puts an absolute stop to that. With a minute left, Dignipaws will need to move forward quickly if they want to try to have a chance to tie this game up. And it is looking like BDS has all of the momentum early on so far. Or I say early on, over 53 seconds left.
I mean, we've seen it a few times from Dignipaws, but it seems like they go up early in these series, and then they just kind of maybe take their foot off the gas. We might see a little bit of a freestyling attempts coming out from Sylvie, and just doesn't seem to really work very often. As BDS continues an offensive crusade on the Dignipaws side, Sylvie is going to break that up though. Rue the Fuzzy going to get a clear off of sidewall. Kiki going to try to keep pressure, and BDS has the possession. They're able to get the dunk. Dignipaws, they need an answer. BDS keeping the ball on the offensive side of the field for him. Meezer trying to take possession. 10 seconds left. Rue the Fuzzy clearing it to the side. We have Reverb trying to get a clear, unable to do so though. Kiki off the top of the bar, and that's going to be game. Oh, BDS is able to complete the reverse sweep in a 1-0 victory. GG's. Well played to both teams. What a series.
Yeah, we have our first ever reverse sweep of league play, and it comes off of a 0-second goal in game 4. I mean, what more can you ask for? BDS obviously played so incredibly well in the latter half of this series, and if you're Dignipaws, don't kick yourself too hard. You played really well. You did get countered there. They did adapt, I think, to their playstyle really well. Shut down, almost flipped the tables on Dignipaws and started on their own offensive onslaught and kind of doing what Dignipaws did early on in the series to them. So yeah, BDS looking to be incredibly strong, and the ability to come back from, I think, that those first 2 games down, especially losing those almost pretty heavily, you have to think that the mental of that BDS team is incredibly strong.
I mean, hashtag big not bad. They make the big plays when they need to, and they do not make the bad plays when it will hurt them. That is huge. And I mean, Reverb showing up huge. I mean, really though, Rue the Fuzzy with that clutch game 4 goal to send it to overtime just seemed to be the turning point in that series. Great series by BDS, and I mean, you can never count them out. They're just too strong.
Can't ask for better, just from an entertainment perspective. Well played. from both sides.
So we're gonna let clips marinate for a second here in this game in this league. Obviously, we just had some NA production issues. My stream deck glitched and sent everybody that wasn't subscribed to an ad break for 3 minutes.
Oh no!
During Game
Oh,
5.
dear.
So I'm just gonna put us back into the stream overlay, and we're just gonna watch Game 5 over one more time. Just so everybody will be able to see it. Once again, apologies for all of that, but we are just gonna go ahead and show this last game. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this one. Imagine that it's still Game 4. Once again, apologies on that, but I mean, my goodness, let's talk about that for a second. BDS taking the reverse sweep, and I heard Fire say this a couple of times during the once during the cast, but we see Dignipaws constantly go up very early in series, and then it just seems like something falls off for the team. I don't know what's going on with that, but it's definitely a bad habit, it seems, and BDS definitely take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, I felt just watching those first few games that it almost felt like, I might have mentioned this in the cast, I almost felt like they didn't respect, I think, the other team's ability to counter, and they kind of felt like if they just put enough pressure on over and over and over again, they'll find cracks and they'll score. And they did that, I think, for those first 2 matches, but they definitely got exposed, I think, a little bit on some of those overcommits, and that came back to bite them. And of course, they had to adjust their play style, play a little bit more hesitant, and I think that made things a little bit more awkward rotationally, as they were forced to play a little bit more patiently, and BDS took full advantage of the space that they were given. And I mean, obviously, we saw from the last few games here, as they just were all over the place. They had so much offensive pressure in those later games, and I mean, when you're given that much space, and you're kind of, you did what you needed to. You countered the overcommits. Now you're given space. I mean, just keep playing your game, and that's exactly what they did.
I mean, Dignipaws, you see them as soon as they get up in a series and they get up by halfway through game 2 and looking like they're gonna win, or going up when they go up 2 games, they just seem to try to go for those more flashy plays a lot, and it kind of bites them. Their offense just doesn't look quite the same when they're trying to do a little bit more and going for those flashy plays. They seem to excel when they're just all synced up together and all just delivering a great group offensive pressure rather than... That was a really good shot. But yeah, when they're all working together to get the ball in the net, they seem to just be a bit stronger than when they're individually trying to go for those plays. I mean, if they're just able to keep their mental in the right place and maybe keep working together throughout an entire series, they'll have a easier time putting away series that end up being similar to this one.
Yeah, I believe that was only a 1-goal game, correct? So
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think everybody has seen what they needed to see. So we'll just give BDS one more congratulations on the victory and move on from that. Once again, apologies to everybody. I know that they could see it in the top near the chat, but my stream deck glitched, and when I tried to save a replay for everything, it went to a 3-minute ad break instead, which is the biggest NA production that you could ever pull. So, just fitting that it happens in a Game 5 in a reverse sweep. And, to be real, once that 0-second goal goes in Game 3, I mean, you had to start looking towards BDS for that. The comeback story was just too great.
Yeah, I mean, 0-second goal. I mean, what better can you ask for in an attempted and successful reverse sweep? I mean, glorious.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
A great series for sure. I mean, you can't ask for anything better. A Game 5 reverse sweep decided by 1 goal. It doesn't get any better than... I mean, the reverse sweep, it finally comes true. We love to see it.
Yeah, that's the first reverse sweep we've gotten this season. I think the first reverse sweep we've gotten in a long time especially on RFDL. So always a great thing to see. And I guess honestly, we were talking the entire time about this being kind of Sylvie versus Reverb, showing who the best GC3 is of the league. I don't really know what to say. I mean, Reverb showed up, and I don't know. Is it still under debate? Do we need to watch for their rematch in 11 or so weeks or mid-season, or what do you guys think?
It's hard to know.
I mean, I might be very slightly biased, but Pictus, ayo. But no, both of those players very, very strong. Both are absolute, just insane players for their team. So, I mean, regardless who's the best out of the bunch, they're all so well played to all of them.
All right. Well, everybody, just to let y'all know, the master sheet will be updated with the scores here in the next 10 to 15 minutes, probably. You will be able to check the leaderboard on there as you are at the end of every week. And we will post our leaderboard graphic in the leaderboard channel later on to show everybody where we're at the end of week 4. But very interesting matches today. I think that they went over quite well, and next week is going to be just as exciting. I don't think we have a graphic for our week 5 matches right now, though, but I will be able to tell you what they are coming into week 5. We are going to have Lumosity versus Purrsion 1, Dignipaws versus Black Bunny Gaming, Fox Clan versus BDS, Gentle Paws versus Twisted Tails, X3 Tactics versus Claude9, and OwOptic Gaming versus Protogen Rebellion. Some very, very interesting matchups coming up for week 5.
Definitely some matches that should be really close once again. As the season goes on, I mean, these teams are just looking more and more competitive with each other, as we were saying yesterday. And I mean, I think we're in for a treat next week, just like we were this week.
Yeah, I have to agree. And what is that, 3 game 5s? Or, 3 game 5s on the week. So, again, as we keep saying, the overgoing story of these teams getting closer and closer, it keeps showing up. And I wouldn't be surprised if we get to week 11 and it's all 5 game series.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's what I think we had alluded to this being a thing, and I'll say it as the weeks go on. But every week, any team can win, and I think we're seeing that be more so the case as time moves on. So yeah, all of these teams are incredibly good and incredibly balanced. So.
All right, guys. Well, we are about to end off for the day, but I gotta ask our friends on the desk here, any final thoughts of week 4 before we end it for today?
GG's.
I mean, yeah, GG's, well played, great series, guys, and excited to see everyone next week again.
Absolutely. And sorry I'm not talkative. I'm still trying to mentally recover from that last series.
Well,
my goodness.
That was a series to end on for sure. Happy to have seen it happen. Reverse sweep in the bingo books for the season, so you guys mark that down. We've already got that out of the way. Now we'll have to see what week 5 has for us. But remember, tune in on Wednesday at 10 p.m. EST for the week 4 podcast. I'm going to try and make sure we have a podcast this week. And tune in next Saturday at the normal time for week number 5 to start. Got some really interesting matches. Can't wait to see them. And I hope you all have a good night. That's it from us. You guys have a good day. Peace out.
See ya.
Deuces.